Chargers, led by the record-passing quarterback Dan Fouts, who will be throwing tonight, among others, to the great and all-purpose athlete, wide receiver Wes Chandler, number 89. But of course, his favorite target, the all-world tight end big Kellen Winslow, University of Missouri. For Kellen, the action but begins when he catches the football. Unable to bring him down in a one-on-one tackle, one of the great players of his time. But tonight, too, it is the debut in the Los Angeles Coliseum of the Los Angeles Raiders. And they will be featuring the extraordinary rookie who can do it all, Marcus Allen, wearing number 32, like O.J. Simpson before him, Southern California, past Heisman Trophy winner. And, of course, the man who'll be sparking the offense, Jim Plunkett, 2 years ago, most valuable player in the Super Bowl, back at his form that was his then. And look at Allen go. Yes, it's the Raiders against the Chargers.
A cool, misty Southern California evening. You're looking at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, and we're live from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. It's the return of ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. The undefeated Los Angeles Raiders versus the 1-1 San Diego Chargers. This ABC Sports exclusive.
Apparently scant crowd in the L.A. Coliseum. Maybe the lifting of the blackout part. And maybe, of course, another reason, uncertain weather, but doubtlessly the principal reason, the aftermath of the apparently unending labor impasse in the National Football League. And in the wake of the turmoil of the past 8 weeks, maybe a new hitch. Toward that end, I will be talking with the lately introduced mediator, Paul Martha, former Steeler, and Ed Garvey of the NFL Players Association, their executive director, at halftime. But meantime, in terms of personnel, yes, some of the best in the National Football League. Two of the better qualified teams, both favored to make the playoffs. And this comes with two owners who cordially dislike each other. And it comes in the continuing enmeshment of the league and Raiders managing partner Al Davis over his right to remove the Raiders from Oakland to Los Angeles. All of this tonight in conjunction with the game. For more on the game, the Gipper, it's good to have you back.
Good to be back, Howard. And if you don't mind, I want to forget all those off-season, off-field problems, if you will, tonight. I think it's time we talked about football. And if you're going to watch football, you may as well watch the San Diego Chargers if you like offense. They were number one in the NFL a year ago, of course, spearheaded by their great quarterback, Dan Fouts. But where they had their problem was defensively. They were next to last in the NFL defensively. They made some major changes, principally in their secondary. They brought in Tim Fox from the New England Patriots. They brought in a couple linebackers from Tampa Bay. They brought in Dewey Salmon and David Lewis. They're good, strong linebackers, and they brought in the defensive coordinator from Tampa Bay so we could look for some defensive changes from the highly explosive offensive San Diego Chargers. And now, to tell us what he expects tonight, a man who has chosen his own facial hair preference, and I must say, you make Willie Nelson look like Tom Selleck. Don, what do you expect?
Thanks a lot, Fred. I expect us to be, you can't expect to lay off 8 weeks and come back as sharp as ever. I mean, some of the camera guys are a little overweight. We may be a little bit rusty tonight, but I think with South 40, our director, and Bobby Goodyear, our producer, we'll be able to put all this stuff together. But we're back here, and of course, I think you'll see the caliber of NFL football and the telecast that you come accustomed to on Monday Night Football. Keep in mind, we have been away for, 8 weeks, but it's going to be okay. We're going to have a real good football game. Now let's go to my colleague Harold, and we'll get this game kicked off. Okay.
All right, Dan Darrow, let's look at the AFC standings, because under the new rules for the shortened season, the top 8 teams in the conference will make the playoffs. And there you see the present top 8 teams. So we're about ready to go, and for the kickoff, the gift.
And the San Diego Chargers have won the toss. They will receive to your left. Those are the standings in the 2 games played. San Diego winning against Denver and then losing to Kansas City. Meanwhile, the Raiders open strong. They beat the world champion San Francisco 49ers. And they carried that winning effort against the Atlanta Falcons. They've looked good. They've looked strong, have the Chargers. Set to kick off is Chris Barr of the Raiders. You got a quick look at James Brooks, a dangerous return man for the Chargers. He's single back there at the goal line. Chris Barr hangs it high. This will be Brooks. History being made. The first Raider home game ever to be played here in Los Angeles. And leading the offensive attack we spoke of a moment ago, Dan Fouts, who set so many records a year ago, breaking records that he had set the previous year. Over 4,800 yards for Dan Fouts a year ago, and he has some marvelous receivers. Kellen Winslow, big number 80. Perhaps, well, he will, no question, I think right now is the best tight end in this game, a great athlete. Wes Chandler has speed on the outside, and then there's a veteran, Charlie Joyner. Muncie in the backfield, a very dangerous running back. But San Diego likes to throw the football and a first down. The attempt is to Charlie Joyner, and it's incomplete. It'll be second down and 10. Let's take a look at the defense. That will change constantly with the Oakland Raiders. That's what you'll see up front. Lyle Alzado, yes, the same Alzado you knew from Cleveland. Prior to that, Denver. Those are your linebackers. Ted Hendricks, well, what can you say? Ted Hendricks is all over the field, all-pro a year ago, and absolutely the perfect football player in 1980 when the Oakland Raiders went to win the Super Bowl. Second down and 10. Fouts looks it over. And out it goes to wide receiver coming across. Eric Sievers, who is split out to the left. He'll come in there with Kellen Winslow. Very fine receiver, second-year man out of Notre Dame. We'll look at it quickly again.
He's one that might slip in there, and he certainly gives a nice balance to that tandem. Receivers, they like the kind of the tall guys at that tight end position. Tight ends becoming more and more important because they got to get out, double those outside guys anymore.
And San Diego will use him in many ways. They will split Kellen Winslow. They will split Eric Sievers, a man they'd like to have in there more often. On a first down and 10 from their own 41-yard line. Fouts complete once again into Raider territory at the 45-yard line. Kellen Winslow. Kellen Winslow, who had 8 receptions in the first 2 games, gets his 9th of the season.
They do like to throw the ball, don't they? They put that thing up.
Good, very well. Timing will be their problem over the course of the whole game. But they were smart. They didn't have any contact drills in the quick preparation for the return to action.
8-yard pickup. It's second down and 2. The ball resting at the 45-yard line of the Raiders. Chandler in motion. If Fouts rolls to the right. Whistle stops the play, however. Our referee tonight is Bob McElwee. He will be giving us the word from high in the Coliseum. I'd like to tell you right off, the game clock is not working, so we'll try to keep you abreast of that as best we can with information from the sidelines. Don Coryell, there he is now in his 5th year. Only had 1 losing season and a great career, both collegiate and with the Cardinals and now the Chargers. Tom Flores, of course, once played as quarterback for the Oakland Raiders in 1960 here in the Coliseum against the then Los Angeles Chargers. They do move around.
That gets confusing.
And behind him in that quick shot was Willie Brown, number 24, destined for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
In that game, the quarterbacks were Tom Flores back in 1960, the Oakland Raiders and Los Angeles Chargers, and Jack Kemp. And Jack Kemp set a record that still stands for yards against the Raiders, of over 500 yards passing. Here we go. Second down and 7 following the penalty. Chuck Muncie, single setback. Quickly goes to Chandler. Chandler back to the 40-yard line. He has the first down. And, well, they may have lost John Jefferson a year ago, but they picked up this man, an absolutely incredible outside receiver with that great blazing speed.
I've really always felt this pass, if it's, you know, it's just almost impossible to knock down. If you get a guy like Chandler out there, throw that thing as much as you can. A little slant coming in, throw that slant out. Lester Hayes is not one of your what you call pushovers on the cornerback, but they beat him pretty easily that time.
Fouts with a quick release. Has only been sacked twice this year, 19 times with over 380 attempts last year. On first and 10, up again. Out to Muncie. Tries to pick up the one-man screen, fails to do so. Flag is down as Muncie gets 5. One thing about, and we've heard so much about it, I don't want to belabor it, who has the advantage, offense, defense, whatever, but I think during the layoff of 8 weeks, as we see the personal foul indicated against the Raiders, I think that the receivers and the quarterbacks who had the opportunity to work had a chance to practice what they do on the field, whereas defensive players, offensive guards did not have that contact. So I would think that if there's anything weighing for either team tonight, it would be the fact that San Diego is principally a passing team, and they have been able to work on that while they've been off.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 36, defense.
I thought it was 37.
Mike Davis, the safety, number 36.
That's what you call your good morning there. The Chandler says, now you caught that out here on Lester a while ago, and I don't want that to happen anymore. That's really unnecessary there. And they called that unnecessary roughness, and they penalized it.
And they paid for it. It'll be 1st and 10. The Chargers at the 20-yard line of the Raiders.
She's so glad the strike was settled.
Eric Sievers split to the right. Motion man, Coleman. This is Muncy. With the nifty move, the big man gets inside the 20, out of trouble behind the line of scrimmage for a gain of a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
I would expect Muncy to be running left much of the night. I would look for a showdown between number 70, Russ Washington, and 73, Dave Browning. Moved to the left side because of the incapacity of John Matusak. Tooze is out for the year with a back condition.
And he is sorely missed.
And Browning is not as strong a muscle man as Washington.
2nd down and 8. Fouts. Winslow, he has the 1st down. He's inside the 10, close to the 7-yard line. Burgess Owens was trying to stay with him, and in a foot race, Kellen Winslow would run away from Burgess Owens.
Winslow is going to just come across kind of a drag pattern. Fouts does a heck of a job getting this thing off. They try to blitz at him. You see Winslow's got a step on Burgess, so there's no way you're going to stop that. Boy, Danny put that ball right on the move that time. I thought that was good. You know, what Frank said, see, that was well thought out about all that passing and stuff with the receivers and quarterbacks a while ago. That's good logic. I like to go with logic.
Facts. 1st down, goal to go. Fouts, 6 to 7, 67 yards on this opening drive. Muncy. They string it out. The Raiders are good at it. They string it out, and Muncy maybe short of the line of scrimmage as Mike Davis took him out of bounds. It'll be 2nd down, goal to go. Don Coryell, who never stops pacing, never stops chewing the fat with anyone that will listen. But again, I'll remind you, the man in all the years he's coached has had one losing season.
I love
his first year, 73 with the Cards.
His comment about the strike, he says, the thing that upsets me is, he says, they're games that have already gone, and I didn't get to coach, and I'll never be able to coach them again. They're gone.
I like that.
Yeah.
He had a point. He does love it. 2nd down, goal to go. Chandler Joyner. They're up at the top of your screen, and Fouts is back. Muncy had it behind him, tried to turn around. Uncharacteristically of Muncy, he drops the football. He's a good receiver. Otis McKinney was there, threatening for the Raiders. It'll be 3rd down, goal to go.
Muncy has been belabored as you look at Tom Flores for the past 5 or 6 months over his personal problems. But from what we've been able to see and in talking with the young man, they seem to be behind it. Those problems, and certainly has been impressing everybody connected with the organization.
And took that weight off, Howard, that he came to camp with. He came at about 225. He's back down to about 218. 3rd and goal. Fouts directing traffic. Tries to come back inside the Sievers, and it will be 4th down, goal to go. Once would suspect it'll be Benushka.
Flags down back here.
We now have a flag in the end zone.
There was looked to be 3
Fouts
Raiders
overhearing, and he says it's going to work against the Raiders.
Think so.
It's number 37 in the end zone.
Lester Hayes crowding a receiver.
Pretty hard to tell, but there's Lester. I think that's well, that's one way to catch up when you lost a half step.
Good thing he doesn't have that stick-em on anymore.
That's right. Howard, you're talking about Muncy. I really think that you see Chuck at the top of his game, so to speak. There's really not a better all-around back because he's such a good receiver. And he can big, move that thing around. Give it to Muncy. Give it to Muncy.
1st down, goal to go.
It'll be hard.
Muncy.
See there?
And it was Mike Davis who slipped in around the outside of the line of scrimmage and first hit Muncy and held him short of the goal line. Mike Davis, one of several of the Raiders who fell to injuries a year ago. Mike Davis with a broken leg in game number 2 amidst much of the season when the Raiders went from 11-5 record and the Super Bowl championship of 80 to their 7-9 season of a year ago. 2nd down, goal to go. John Cappelletti leads Muncie around the right side, and again, the Raiders are there.
Oh, good.
And it was Ted Hendricks, as you might suspect. He's tough to run at, he's tough to run away from.
They have him running right. The last 4 times Muncie's carried the ball, he's run right. And I think that's freezing.
I think your point about Browning is a good one because it is a new position, and he's working against a very experienced offensive lineman. But most teams prefer to run to the right. They're called right-handed teams. Off tackle, 3rd and 2. That's a big scoop.
3rd down, goal to go. Winslow, motion. This time we'll try it left. And again, the Raiders hold. Good defensive play, and I think it was Burgess Owens that time who submarined. And now decision time for Don Coryell. It'll be 4th down, goal to go.
They haven't tried up the middle.
Again, the game clock is not running. We cannot tell you how much time this drive has taken. We'll get the information to you, but the Chargers have had the ball from the outset of the game if you've just joined us.
What a big lift. You see all the Chargers, the Raider defense down there. They're proud of themselves, and they should be.
A proud team.
Manushka, as you can see, he suffered a broken wrist playing squash. Wearing a cast on his left wrist. Field goal attempt. Ed Luther, a quarterback. The backup quarterback to Fouts will handle the placement. Chip shot, and San Diego has to settle for 3 points. And they had a 1st down, goal to go. The ball at the 1-yard line. Superb defensive effort by the Raiders. We'll be back in the Coliseum of Los Angeles in a moment. We have been informed there is 8:25 to go in the 1st quarter, and San Diego used up almost 7 minutes of the clock in the 1st quarter on that drive. They lead 3-0. Benershka to kick off. That's Greg Pruitt deep for the Oakland Raiders. Greg Pruitt acquired on draft day from the Cleveland Browns of Benershka with a high, short kick that is taken there by Clea Montgomery. He bobbles it, comes up with it, and just about breaks a big one, getting out to the 28-yard line as Ray Preston was there defensively for the Chargers. And we will watch Jim Plunkett now. Jim Plunkett, who guided to the Raiders to victories in their first 2 games against San Francisco and then Atlanta. He's 25 of 49, 51%, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception in the first 2 games. He's been hitting on big plays, though, and that's Oakland-type football. He also has been sacked 6 times in the previous 2 games. Plunkett looks it over. The wide receiver, speedster Malcolm Barnwell, number 80, Cliff Branch, number 21. That's Barnwell in motion. Play action. He'll put it on top first play. Fires over the middle and is complete out to the 35-yard line. Plunkett finds the tight end, Todd Christensen, as we look at the defensive setup, which would change, by the way, from a 4-3 occasionally. It's Tom Bass, the new defensive coordinator from Tampa Bay. We'll bring in David Lewis, the linebacker that played for Bass at Tampa Bay. And you saw the secondary. That's changed considerably, too. Tim Fox is in there. He roams the secondary. He'll hit you, too. Jeff Allen at corner number 27. 2nd down and 3. Here comes Marcus Allen. And Marcus Allen gets out to the 40-yard line.
That's a good evidence of what
another flag is down. They'll bring that back.
That was a good evidence of what Marcus Allen can do. As you look at 2s, John Matusak, of course, sidelined for the year, as we noted, bad back. But Allen will suddenly get you those extra yards that don't seem to be there.
You don't do what he did at USC and not really have a lot of great moves. I think when you see what a fine addition he's been, and talking to some of the personnel of the Raider team, he's their short receiver. They got Branch that goes deep. He's the guy that can break that tackle and go all the way with it. Marcus is going to be a good one for him.
Holding against Kurt Marsh, left guard of the Raiders. They backed it to the 25-yard line. 2nd down, 13. Plunkett back. Here comes the blitz. Plunkett gets it off and is complete to Kenny King. And he gets back to the original line of scrimmage. He's up into there quickly.
That was a nice move by Plunkett just to get that ball off. King was in there, made the tackle.
Let's take a look at it again. A lot of pressure. No one picked up the outside man. Keith Ferguson. He'll come in just with a free shot, and Plunkett maintains his poise, gets the ball to Kenny King. And it'll be 3rd down and 10. Talked about Marcus Allen, his receiving, his running ability. He was also a blocking back for 2 years at USC, and he was a high school quarterback. He can throw the ball.
Siegs in acquired.
And Ferguson pressure. Plunkett will have to struggle for the first, and he does not get it as he goes down at the 34-yard line. Upended there. So that will be 4th down.
The interesting thing about San Diego in this shortened season is that in the first 2 games they played, there was their defense that excelled.
Yeah, haven't allowed a touchdown to be scored.
Denver lost to them 23-3, and then there was the block kick by Kansas City and the 3 Lowry field goals and the Kansas City upset of San Diego. So suddenly defense is working, and Tom Bass apparently the key reason.
You saw the 2nd-year man from Auburn, James Brooks, as Ray Guy has to hurry the punt. Takes a bit of a Raider bounce and trickles down to the 17-yard line, where San Diego will have their 2nd possession. And out comes Dan Fouts, who had to settle for a 3-pointer after directing the Chargers to a 1st and goal to go at the 1-yard line.
Work of art between San Diego and Miami had everything. A Charger runaway, a Dolphin comeback, razzle-dazzle, seesaw scoring, 102 passes, 10 touchdowns, tie scores, sudden death, block kicks, elation, exhaustion. The highest scoring playoff ever was a game somebody won, but nobody lost.
San Diego Chargers have a 1st down and 10 at their own 17-yard line. Dan Fouts very sharp in the early going. He needs one more 300-yard game to tie the all-time NFL leader, Johnny Unitas, at 14. And here comes Chuck Muncie over the left side. And Muncie out over the 20 to the 21, a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Wow, Alzado defensively, along with Matt Millen, the former Penn State lineman. The Raiders turned into a linebacker, and a fine one indeed against the run. Talked about all the things that happened yesterday. We had some stats run off for us by our ABC radio people in New York, and there were fewer interceptions on average than there were in a given game of a year ago, and fewer fumbles. 2nd down and 6. Fouts fires it complete, and it goes to Eric Sievers, and Sievers has the 1st down. He's out to the 34-yard line, and Fouts all the time in the world, and he will pick any team apart if you give him that kind of time.
Look at that graphic. That's an interesting stat from yesterday. Fewest points scored on any NFL Sunday since the 8th week of the 78 season. Frank mentioned fewer fumbles. I personally thought it was disgraceful watching some of the local TV shows around the country, the way they strung together fumbles to try to show the ineptitude from the strike layoff. It was totally misleading. Disgrace to journalism.
On 1st and 10, and
How did he catch that?
Charlie Joyner, and Charlie Joyner. Flag goes down, but Joyner made a circus catch, and we've watched him for 14 years doing his act like that.
Now, that is amazing. That is
Personal foul, number 36, defense.
Well, Mike Davis is.
He's back with
2
us.
of them now.
Davis is back in town.
Mike, personal fouls against Mike Davis. Let's look at it again. 34 years old. He plays like a high school kid.
It really always does amaze me how an athlete can have this type of concentration. Just flat out let it all happen. What a catch.
I remember when he was a defensive back. He runs the most precise routes of any receiver in the league. Every year he talks about retiring. The Chargers talk him into coming back for 1 more year, and how do you let a player with that capacity retire?
He also needs 2 more receptions, Howard, to tie Bill Houghton 10th on the all-time list. On 1st and 10, Fouts back once again. He is a man wide open. It'll be Dwight Scales, who has been around this league. He started his pro career with the Rams right here in the Coliseum, went to the Giants, and he has just scored the first touchdown of the night as he broke into the clear absolutely beautifully.
You talk about a blown assignment. That had to be it, to be that alone.
Either that or he sure's got, and what they say, quick feet, wide open. from a little reverse angle right there. The other side of it. Wide open. Touchdown time. Love to watch Danny throw the ball. He's one of the prettiest ones. A pretty passer. You know, he just makes that ball right in there, flips it out.
He is hot tonight. He's 9 of 11, 121 yards, and now 1 touchdown. We have approximately 4 minutes remaining now in the first quarter. Benershka pops it through. And San Diego is on a roll. They lead 10-0 with, again, approximately 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Our game clock not running this evening. Minutes remaining in the first quarter. Chargers have not punted. They lead 10-0. Benershka again, high kick. Perhaps he's doing this intentionally to keep it away from Greg Pruitt. And once again, it goes to Clee Montgomery. Montgomery, with a fancy little move, gets out over the 30-yard line to the 32, taken there by Carlos Bradley.
Thus far in this game, these events against the Chargers, Los Angeles, correction, and Los Angeles has been hurt by penalties.
There's 1st and 10. Kenny King over the right side gets out over the 35 for a gain of about 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. And we talked about Marcus Allen. We haven't seen that much of him lately because the Chargers have possessed the ball all evening. But Kenny King has been helped considerably with Marcus Allen, and one would suspect that with Allen and King, the Raiders perhaps have the best running attack they've ever had in the history of their franchise. We'll see how it develops over the year, if indeed we have a year. 2nd and 6. Wow, and Marcus Allen just explodes right side to the 45-yard line. Gets the first down. Bob Greger defensively, but you saw the quickness, the great athletic talent.
I think we should take note of the fact as we look at an end zone replay that Bob Chandler isn't in there. We'll see very limited action because of a pulled ligament in the knee.
Nice block that time by Kenny King. Came through. That was Dewey Selman, the linebacker, and they're doubling up pretty heavy in the middle on Louis Kelcher.
Frank Hawkins, number 27, second-year man out of the University of Nevada, Reno. And they're now one running back, and Plunkett hangs it high. Cliff Branch is down there, but it's picked off. Tim Fox, who was acquired from New England to do just that. The Chargers, number 28 in pass defense a year ago. They went for defensive help. They traded all of their top 6 draft picks to help themselves defensively. And Tim Fox shows you why they got him.
Ball just didn't quite get there. You see Fox did have a pretty good position on him, but Brad Cliff had to slow down, and Timmy just stepped in front of him. Has a little trouble holding his feet over here. Has those logged legs a little bit.
Tim Fox, they got him from New England for a 2nd-round draft pick, and he's being congratulated. We'll be back in a moment. All those number 1 draft picks in their secondary, but they don't have Tim Fox anymore. He's in a Charger uniform. He started 91 consecutive games for New England. Tough.
He sure is. That's the word. Tough, scrappy, feisty player. And that shows you there's been no pass rush on Fouts.
On 1st and 10, Fouts back once again. He's finding easy pickings. And fired that one in there again to Wes Chandler, who
Lester Hayes
really got hammered.
Oh, that ball was really right on the money, but Lester was right there too. And he just took his money and gave him change. Look at Hendricks, 83 back out there. He was not quite in position. The ball is right where it should be, and here comes Lester. Got a little help from Davis out in front, I think, too. But Lester was the one that did the damage.
You give Fouts that much time, he'll destroy you.
Well, he'll get your attention, won't he?
Hayes steps out of the lineup for a moment. Davis is in, number 45. 2nd down, 10. Fouts again. Quickly over the middle. Muncy. Hayes is in the open field. Muncy bulking his way inside Raider territory to the 48-yard line, carrying Ted Watts with him.
The Raiders are trying to change up their defense. You see them trying to blitz a linebacker, and all this really is great experience from a guy like Fouts. Muncy was alert also. Just quick little swing pass right out of the backfield. Big gainer.
Only can get him down with a gang tackle. Not one-on-one. Not that player.
That was a nice read by Danny, though. He saw the defense move around a little bit. Millen, the linebacker, came in a little too close. Right where Millen left from is where Muncy wound up.
1st down and 10, 48-yard line. James Brooks is in there now. Number 21 takes the play action fake, and a man is open. It's Chandler, and Fouts does not get the ball to him. There you might just have seen the legs that were not really in the condition they should have been in, as I would believe that Wes Chandler, with a little more activity, would have been under that ball. He has great speed. Davis back there covering.
Well, that speaks for the ability of Fouts, who already has 148 yards tonight. Just a remarkable player, and when he's getting this kind of protection and hitting the way he's hitting tonight, the Chargers look like one of the most redoubtable offensive teams in contemporary football history.
Second down and 10. Movement. Flags. No whistle, so Fouts goes through with it. Chandler has yardage for the first down, and I believe the penalty will be assessed against the Raiders unless they were drawn off, but it did not appear to be the case. Again, our referee tonight, Bob McElwee. Yep. So the Chargers will pick up another first down.
Raiders are killing themselves with penalties. They're the ones who've lost their timing.
They were heavily penalized in their opening two games against San Francisco and Atlanta. 14 against one and 15, I believe, against the other. And they are picking up where they left off.
Incidentally, according to an AP report, Cincinnati has voted 47-1 in favor of ratification of the tentative agreement. And my information is 49-52 will vote on the Raiders team in favor of ratification.
First down for San Diego, and you're going to start to wonder if maybe the Raiders, who are lining the sidelines, are getting a little feeling of deja vu, because in the first game that these two teams played last year, Dan Fouts threw 6 touchdown passes, 5 of them to Kellen Winslow, as they destroyed the Raiders up in Oakland. They also beat them in the final game of the season. First and 10, Fouts right up on top again, and this time it's a little behind Charlie Joyner, incomplete. It'll be second down and 10. Dan Fouts. Looks as though he has been playing over the past 8 weeks. But again, for a passer and a receiver, they've been able to work on their technical skills, whereas the hitter types have not been able to do that.
That's the very point Joe Theismann made after the Redskins' victory over the Giants yesterday, that he had been working out during the strike with his receivers. Their timing was perfect.
Second down and 10 from the 38-yard line of the Raiders. Fouts back again, lots of time. This time throws it short. Pass that could have been caught, but was not. And Fouts is shaken up. Bang there by a blitzing Matt Millen.
That's the point. That's the first time Fouts approached facing pressure.
Really is. He's on a quick count. He might have even tried to change this, and it had been on the early count. See, Millen goes down right there, but keeps on coming. Gets out there, gets him low. He says, if I can't walk, I'll crawl back here. They did have a little pressure that time, and although you're right, but you think about this, they throw so much, that defensive line and linebackers, they can just tee off and cut. That's when you're going to throw a little screen, maybe a little draw play every now and then, just to slow them down some.
Again, the official game clock not working tonight. We would suspect there is not much time remaining, however, in the first quarter. 10-0, San Diego, and on 3rd and 10, Fouts is back. Kellen Winslow does not hold on. Good defensive play. Burgess Owens. And that will bring up 4th down for San Diego.
The last 3 passes really have not been, they may be for reasons, but they haven't been right on the money. Kellen's coming back out, going to do a cut across. This ball's a little bit behind him also. He actually had a step out there, so ball been out in front. Owens, I don't believe, would have been able to interfere that.
Just about 1 minute remaining here in the first quarter, as we will see Maury Buford, 8th-round draft pick out of Texas Tech, had a great collegiate career down there. He was a second player picked, by the way, by San Diego, who traded away their top 6 picks.
Maury's daddy was a big Aggie booster down there in Mount Pleasant, about 15 miles from Mount Vernon. Big recruiter. Tried to get me to go down to A&M, play for the Bears.
And the penalty, I think, was a calculated one on the part of San Diego. Buford will not be affected. He'll probably be able to freely kick away.
His leg's too strong. They had to put a handicap on him. Back up a little bit.
Los Angeles could decline the penalty if they so choose, and they do not. Greg Pruitt is deep for the Raiders. Hadn't returned punts since his 3rd year at Cleveland. That was back in 1975 until he was acquired by the Raiders. But he was very effective in his first couple of years with the Cleveland Browns as a return man. Buford. High, towering punt. Nice one to the out of bounds and fairly well struck, as it will be marked off close to the 10-yard line. Maury Buford with a fine punt, the rookie from Texas Tech. So with about 1 minute to play here in the first quarter, Chargers on top over the Raiders 10-0. We'll be back after this. Down high overhead, looking down at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, which will host the track and field events for the 1984 Olympic Games. As a matter of fact, some $900,000 has already been spent to recondition the surface. Of course, the 32 games were also held here.
By the way, the grass has been resurfaced. It's excellent.
The Raiders, who have been unable to mount any sort of offensive attack, have a 1st and 10 from their own 10, and we watch Marcus Allen on the left side, the youngster who hung up 12 NCAA rushing marks on this very same field with the Trojans of USC. Looking at how he looks at it, Don.
Yeah, that's always kind of scary back there, too, particularly on a play like this. You see him kind of meshing out there, and you say, where do all those guys come from? When you look at it, eyeball to eyeball to Gary old Big Hands Johnson. But he's seen a little daylight and made a lot out of it for a lot of years.
2nd down and 10. Kenny King following the block of Marcus Allen, who got a good block for Kenny King. But then it was Lyndon King who was there defensively after a gain of 4. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
Him. He has been a long-term Raider fan. When they were in Oakland, now it's easier for him with the team in Los Angeles. Of course, that matter has not been finally resolved yet.
And flag down on the field. Raiders being backed up once again.
Holding, number 65, offense.
Mickey Marvin.
2nd down.
Right side guard, holding.
See Henry Lawrence come limping off there.
5 remaining in the period.
That's the Raiders' history on Monday night. By all odds, the most effective team in the history of Monday Night Football on Monday nights. 18-2-1.
Lawrence coming out, as you can see, being assisted, and big Art Shell, who's put in 15 years with the Oakland Raiders, will step in at right tackle. Now, that's not his position. Over the right side, Art Shell, of course, for so many years a fixture at the left tackle position, but he's in there now on the right side as Henry Lawrence is being treated on the sidelines. 2nd down 15. Marcus Allen breaks to the outside.
Good move.
Runs into a bunch of Chargers out there, headed by Tim Fox, and he's dropped at the 8-yard line. And Lester Hayes, who went out earlier, is icing up a very sore knee, we are told. That's the end of the first quarter. It's been all San Diego. They lead 10-0. Jim Plunkett heads the troops up to the other end of the field, and we'll rejoin the action when we come back. Jim Plunkett, he's had his share of comebacks. Last year, off-season, replaced by Mark Wilson. This year, back out of the doghouse once again, and with impressive victories in the opening 2 games over San Francisco and then Atlanta. 3rd down and 12, the ball at the 8-yard line of the Raiders. Plunkett dumps it off to King, and he gets back to the original line of scrimmage, close to the 10-yard line. And, excuse me, that was Marcus Allen on the receiving end of that. And we will see Ray Guy punting from his end zone.
Can't see that kind of play at all. They've got to get out of the hole. They've killed themselves. They've had 5 penalties, 56 yards. They've been killed offensively, and they were killed defensively by the penalties, against only 2 by San Diego for 10 yards. So he throws to get it back to the original line of scrimmage.
Looked a little tentative back there.
Yes.
Just a little tentative.
It's ridiculous.
Dangerous man back, James Brooks. Raiders will have to protect at the line of scrimmage, should give Brooks an opportunity to return. However, he calls for and executes the fair catch at the 49-yard line. And San Diego, once again, in fine field position. College football, and we have a Thanksgiving Day feast coming up this Friday and your way this weekend. They marked it inside the 49-yard line. The Chargers 1st and 10. And Muncie runs into a peck of trouble. And Dan Fouts comes out of there with the football.
Who are these guys?
Muncie couldn't go anywhere in that play because he didn't have a good grip on the ball. He was half fumbling it as he was hit by the defenders. First quarter stats. Look at the San Diego edge, all in passing yards. Time of possession controlling 2 for them.
It'll be 2nd down and 10. Both wide receivers now split out to the left. And there is a very telling stat. Not all reflected in penalties. Fouts steps back into the pocket, reads the blitz, finds Chandler, and Chandler's inside the 25-yard line. Ted Watts, man-for-man coverage on the blitz. And Fouts times it out beautifully with Chandler.
Isn't that fun to watch, Howard? I mean, it really is. He gets back there and throws that thing, man oh man, slide it down. You again see they're trying to put a little bit of pressure, but they didn't really blitz any linebackers. He just broke out in his man-for-man coverage, and he had West out on the outside, awfully hard to cover. That one was right on the money.
While I give Cincinnati credit for a great defense, as you look at Chandler again, it was Fouts who suffered unduly in that terrible cold in the playoff game.
Fouts again times it out beautifully and is complete down inside the 5-yard line.
Nick Kellen, isn't it? And I'm telling you, there was a collision after he caught the ball.
Kellen Winslow goes 250.
He's just picking them apart. Not a good weightlifter, though, Frank.
No, we saw him in the Superstars competition we had a few weeks ago, and we have a pair of players shaken up.
They hit a head-on.
Winslow is down, and we'll wait to identify the defensive Raider.
Again, see Denny look over to his left, come back, drill the ball. There's Kellen coming right in on the inside. That's Burgess Owens.
Burgess Owens. Yeah. He took on the 6'6", 250-pound Winslow, and both of them remain on the turf here of the Coliseum.
He actually got McDavis on Winslow's back, so he had another 200-something pounds, and that all hits Burgess. Did I say Burgess? Yeah.
Wham. That was a collision.
That is a collision.
And both players are being treated by the medical staffs. Now Winslow is coming to his feet, and they're helping Burgess Owens up. We'll be back with the report. Both players got off the field under their own locomotion. As you can see, Kellen Winslow appears to be all right. And San Diego has a 1st down goal to go, 5-yard line. Fouts 13 of 20, 201 yards, 1 touchdown. We've just begun the 2nd quarter. He now needs 86 yards to reach the 25,000-yard career plateau. Muncie using his bump to take it down close to the 2-yard line, where it'll be 2nd and goal to go for a very worried Tom Flores.
It's hard to tell when you look at him, because he looks that same way every time you see him, but he's got to be a little bit concerned. I'd say primarily his offense. The offense, not any defense is going to stop San Diego on a consistent basis, but his offense has really been pretty weak tonight.
Interesting to study public reaction here tonight. They really want the Raiders to do well. They've been so disappointed by the Rams through the recent years. And yet look at the Raiders.
In the end zone, and the Chargers continue to dominate. Chuck Muncie, big man, good athlete, spots his holes. He'll either go over the top. He started to down here, Don. Then he saw the gap and just forced it a little wide.
Looked like to me he almost fumbled the exchange there, and then got that ball, it veered to the outside. I think he's a terrific back. I really do like Chuck, and he's such an asset because, as I mentioned earlier, he's an outstanding pass receiver.
He'll give you a thrill handling that ball.
That's right. Bounce that thing.
Benershka for the conversion. Luther will place it down. The Chargers roll out on top. They lead 17-0. We're in the early going of the 2nd quarter. The Los Angeles Raiders debut in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Once again. How long? Well, we'll find out a little more about that at halftime. Paul Martha will be with us, as will Ed Garvey. Manushka pops it. Brings it very high. Lee Montgomery once again.
Look at him.
And Montgomery had a little daylight to the outside. Closed down very quickly. Carlos Bradley once again on the stop.
So
Thought he should have cut inside.
it is easy up here. I thought he was left. I said, man, one little more of the move, and we got ourselves a touchdown.
On the sideline, Burgess
clearly still hurting from that collision. A terrible one with Kellen Winslow.
Well, there's a football player. Watched him come up as a #1 draft pick with the Jets many years ago. He's played that corner. He's played the safety. He's never, ever backed away from hitting someone.
We may think about it tomorrow.
1st and 10. The Raiders, their own 32-yard line. Plunkett down 17-0, goes through the air, and here's Malcolm Barnwell. And the speedster doesn't have a chance to accelerate. He's down at the 35-yard line. A gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
I agree with the use of the word tentative in Jim's quarterbacking thus far, Don.
Kind of see that maybe the whole unit. I think it does start with the quarterback. You know, the quarterback kind of sets the tone, but they haven't really been, fire off the ball. And
well, he's gained 4 yards per pass.
San Diego in a 3-4 defense. We'll set that for you in a moment. 2nd down and 6. Plunkett looking for a receiver. Comes up with one. Moves to the outside is Marcus Allen. And he's close to a Raider 1st down.
And that was a good move. He kind of stayed in there, waited, held his feet there. You watch those nervous feet. Held him in there and got him a 1st down. That's their 2nd move.
And Marcus Allen, showing the head of a professional, gets the yardage for the 1st down. His position is a checkoff man, but he made sure he had the yardage to pick up the 1st. Now the Chargers will drop back into their 4-3. Out comes Dewey Selman and David Lewis. Back in comes Woody Lowe and Cliff Thrift. 43-yard line. The quick toss. Marcus Allen. Student body right, they used to call it. And Allen turns it into a 1st down to the 42-yard line. Tim Fox made the stop.
This is a nice one. They got a hole, got up the outside in a hurry. Kenny King's leading, I think. Number 33 is good hole. Cut back in there by Marcus. Marcus got a lot of fans in the stands tonight.
Beautiful looking ball play.
Yeah, he is.
He does all over the country. He handles himself so great. Just a class individual. 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line of the Chargers. Plunkett tries to get it out to Barnwell. Incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Tell you, there was one play against Atlanta that I think tells you a lot about Marcus Allen. He was in on a block for Plunkett. He made his block, knocked the lineman down that was coming through, got up, positioned himself for the ball, caught the pass, and ran over a defender. It was a 14-yard touchdown effort, but it showed just about all the qualities and talents of last year's Heisman Award winner, Marcus Allen. 2nd down and 10. This is Greg Pruitt, and a big opening for Pruitt, and another Heisman Award winner for the Raiders inside the 30 with a 1st down, and Tim Fox again defensively there for the Chargers.
That's a nice man, too. You talk about a nice fellow. Greg Pruitt's a heck of a nice guy. Glad to see him get out here in L.A. That's another good hole over there. They're opening them up. Good move. Slight, maybe a missed tackle in the middle there by Selman, but had a pretty good block on him. Greg hit that. A great little explosion. Picked up a 1st down.
Wouldn't want to leave Jim Plunkett out of those Heisman Awards. He, too, is a Heisman Award winner. 3 of them on the field tonight.
How about that? He could have a whole backfield of them.
Plunkett, down he goes.
Got him.
Big pressure.
Louis Kelcher was one of them in there.
And Leroy Jones.
Leroy Jones, the left side.
And looking at Louis, because he can no longer be weighed on a Toledo scale, they have to take him to the produce market. That's how big he's gotten.
That's, a guy like Louis, though, with that extra weight. Those are the guys you really worry about when they're trying to come back after an 8-week layoff, because takes those guys a little bit longer to get that quickness back.
I'll tell you, Art Shell is working on the right side. That's not his customary position, and he is going against a tough one on Leroy Jones. The ball back at the 40-yard line, 2nd down and 20. Plunkett again in trouble. Picked off.
Well,
Picked off. Cliff Thrift, the middle linebacker. Plunkett being pursued all over by Leroy Jones. Hangs it up. Crowd doesn't like it. Flores can't be happy with it. That ball thrown right into the hands of Cliff Thrift.
I bet Plunkett thought all these fans flew down here from Oakland to do that. He just kind of got a little bit upset. Didn't have much blocking. And though Cliff did run a good route, he was wide open.
But you've been around the years. Jim's been around. You don't throw that ball into traffic. You get rid of it, yes.
Got a little bit. He didn't really have time to set up, but it was a mistake. You don't throw to the other guys. See there, that's an error.
Chargers again, good field position. Their own 43-yard line. Danny Fouts will take as much as he can get as quickly as he can get it. Keeps it in the air, and Muncie dances down the sidelines up close to midfield before they take him out of bounds.
Well, the quick flip, little sideline hitch or screen to Muncie to beat the pass rush. Green Bay taught Minnesota a lesson on that this past Sunday. Vikes had 8 sacks of Lynn Dickey, but Green Bay drove them crazy using the screens against the pass rush, and they made it count.
Take what they give you.
Kellen Winslow back in the ball game for San Diego. The big tight end apparently all right. It's 2nd down and 3. It's James Brooks, the second-year speedster out of Auburn, inside Raider territory to the 49, short of the first down by about 1.5 yards. Bob Nelson there defensively for the Raiders.
We're advised, Frank, that Burgess Owens' shoulder has been injured. To what extent? We haven't had a full report yet. We'll let you know as soon as we do.
I could understand that, couldn't you? Maybe both shoulders and the head and most everything else.
Ankles.
Yeah.
3rd down, just about 2 yards for the first. Bounce. No. Out of bounds was Charlie Joyner. Fine defensive coverage by Ted Watts and Charlie Joyner. Joyner threatened the deep move. We have a flag down once again as we look at it again.
It depends so much on timing on this kind of route. And Danny had to wait a little bit longer, I think, than he planned to throw out to Joyner. Moved a little bit to the left, you saw in the pocket, and by that time, Joyner's already too close to the sideline.
Well, Raiders guilty again.
Illegal contact. Number 37, defense. 1st down.
Again.
Lester's going to make sure that they know he's out there.
Yeah, Joyner was objecting to. He was claiming that he had been knocked out of bounds, that the catch was legal. But as you saw in the replay, his left foot was already down and out of bounds.
It's academic because it's a 1st down and 10 for the Chargers. 44-yard line of the Raiders. Chargers out in front, 17-0. Chandler split to the left, Joyner right. Bounce, he wants it all. Chandler, and we are going to have another penalty, and I believe it will be assessed against the Raiders, and this time Ted Watts appears to be the guilty Raider.
Can you imagine how you must feel as a defensive back like that? You got Kellen Winslow, Howard's all-world tight end, flanker, whatever he is, but he's got to be a little nervous. He sees that guy go 50 yards and bounces, throw it. Ball's a little bit underthrown. Hey, that wasn't even Winslow. What am I talking about? That was Wes Chandler. Well, I still make you nervous.
Eric Sievers.
Tell you, Watts.
No, it's Chandler.
Watts was all over Chandler.
That's Rusty. Look
Watts was really slipping, and he grabbed Chandler right in front of the official.
So this game takes on the appearance of a rout. Only twice tonight have the Raiders been able to stop the Chargers. Once in their opening goal line stand, and then once forcing a punt.
1st and goal to go. Muncie trying to use his weight to get inside the end zone, but Ted Hendricks holds on.
That's the right defense for that play. All the Raiders seem to be out. Four of them were out there. A couple of them blocking, and Muncie's not going to score under those circumstances. Is that right, Don?
Don Coryell, his collegiate career, Whittier. Unbelievable numbers at San Diego State. Then the St. Louis Cardinals, where he won a couple of division championships. Came to the Chargers in '78. Has won the last 3 Western divisions of the AFC. 2nd and goal. Muncie up over the top. Touchdown, San Diego. Almost flawless offensively, but helped considerably by errors that resulted in penalties to the Raiders. San Diego on a roll tonight.
It's not exactly the debut that they had in mind for the L.A. Raiders.
Even so, as you look at Tom Flores and Jim Plunkett, the thing to remember long term is the continuingly effective defensive play of the Chargers, a far cry from recent years. Los Angeles has been able to get nothing going.
They have helped that considerably, I think, with Tim Fox back there. And, of course, David Lewis, the fine linebacker from Tampa Bay, Dewey Selman, who's in trouble with a rib problem, but he's been in the game tonight. They've helped themselves defensively. Benershka attacks on the conversion. We have a 24-0 ball game. There's the man that got it into the end zone. We'll be back. Benershka will kick off for the San Diego Chargers, and I will point out once again we have 4 Heisman Award winners on the field tonight. We left out John Cappelletti. Certainly should not do that. Great Penn State star, bobbled at the 23-yard line, picked up there by Millen, and Millen out to the 35-yard line for the Raiders, where it'll be first down and 10, and the Raiders struggling to get anything going offensively. And you have got to put up the points on the board if you're going to beat the Chargers, even in past years when they were lacking in defense. So we talked about a little earlier, Jack Kemp set a yardage record passing in that game that still stands against the Oakland Raiders, up there about 560 yards or something like that.
Well, that was supply side offense.
But no,
it didn't trickle down, though.
Yeah.
Ray Preston, outside linebacker of the Chargers, being helped off the field.
You know what's even more remarkable about the apparent transformation and effectiveness of the San Diego defense, Frank? They didn't have a draft choice in the first 7 rounds. After the trades they made and prior trades.
They traded him really wisely, I think, Howard. Everyone will tell you this college crop coming up is not what next year's is going to be. And while they gave away 6 of their top draft picks, next year they have 2 number 1s, they have 2 number 2s, 2 number 4s, and 2 number 6s. And what promises to be a super draft next year. First and 10, the Raiders 35-yard line, they're down 24-0. Plunkett fires a complete for the tight end Todd Christensen, the former Dallas Cowboy running back, converted to a tight end. He gets 6 up to the 41.
Had to convert him because of the injury to Derek Ramsey, who was really coming into his own as one of the fine tight ends.
Ramsey, of course, the leading receiver for the Raiders last year with 52. He, as we mentioned earlier, has had some injury problems, and he now is unable to get Todd Christensen out of the lineup. 2nd and 4, and Marcus Allen stacked up short of the first down, out close to the 43-yard line.
Hear the boos beginning to come out here.
Yep. That, of course, is the Maverick owner at odds with all other owners in the league over his removal here from Oakland, Al Davis.
3rd down and about 2. Kenny King gets a block from Marcus Allen, and I believe the surge will carry him to a Raider first down over the 45-yard line. Cliff Thrift defensively at middle linebacker.
By the way, I noted earlier that removal case has not been finally resolved. Still in court proceedings is the attempt of the city of Oakland to utilize an eminent domain statute in California, force the Raiders back to Oakland. However, twice in the courtroom, Davis has prevailed, although on jury.
On 1st and 10, we'll watch it from Marcus Allen's point of view, and Marcus Allen very wisely sees a lot of Chargers, steps out of bounds, and we have another flag down. And this time, holding against the Raiders.
That's an interesting angle, I think, to look at a ball game, because it does give you that player's perspective. And if you've noticed on that one, they had a little mix-up in the backfield, and Marcus ran into Plunkett.
Marked off. Here's the call.
Holding, number 50, offense. First down.
Dave Dalby, who played his collegiate career here at UCLA. The center for the Raiders, guilty of holding.
You look at it again from this angle, coming back from that offensive standpoint. You see how the linemen try to spread out a little bit. They kind of get the angles on the defensive back. Let's see what they do. Good
San
move.
Diego deployed in a 3-4 on the first down 20.
There you go.
And Plunkett goes a little low, but Cliff Branch comes up with it. Short of the first down, but it gets a lot of the yardage back to the 48-yard line of the Chargers.
Good example of how little pressure that was put on the quarterback that time. He did throw it a little bit low. I think if it had been a higher, get it to a guy like Branch. He came in there and wide open. Oh, thank you, Chet. I like it from this angle.
Second down and 4. There's 4:30 remaining in the first half. Again, our game clock not functioning tonight.
Right there, open, right there.
Wide open.
Yes, sir.
That's Christensen, the tight end, and he has a first down. There's a fist fight going on at the 40-yard line.
You try to get down. That's the penetration into that linebacker's position. Those linebackers have got to make a big drop. They get back after the outside, circle back in behind him. He's wide open.
Another flag on the play.
Personal foul. Offense, number 37. Personal foul. Defense, number 53.
Dual foul. David Lewis and Frank Hawkins, after the pass was completed far downfield, really got into it.
Personal foul, number 27. Offense.
He called out 37, but I believe he meant 27. That's Frank Hawkins, who was in there blocking against the blitzing Dave Lewis. There is Hawkins, a second-year man out of the University of Nevada at Reno.
Well, he's new. He's just learning this game. Young kid.
Raiders have had 7 penalties for 93 yards.
Personal foul, 27 on the offense. Personal foul, 53 on the defense. The fouls occurred after the play. Fouls occurred after the play.
It did take place that long, so they negate each other, except there will be a first down. So Christensen gets the first down. The double foul occurred after Christensen was down. The whistle had blown. Frank Hawkins and David Lewis exchanging ineffectual blows, as they usually are. First down, Raiders, inside the 36-yard line of the Chargers. Raiders on their first major offensive move thus far in the game. Trailing 24-0. We'll watch it again from the end zone. Plunkett finds Kenny King, and Kenny King does not hold on. Cliff Thrift was pounding his big size 12s in the general direction of Kenny King, perhaps disturbing the concentration somewhat.
You can almost sense all the different options that are going through the quarterback's head when he's out there. You saw him pushed out of the pocket a little bit. Again, there's a slight hesitancy or being a little bit tentative.
Talk about tentative. I mean, just pushing the dunk off.
Just a little bit. Okay, he's got him spread out. Doesn't look like any kind of a blitz that's going to come. Probably going to go into a zone from where that safety is. The safety's going to the middle. They're going to run.
Marcus Allen. Beautiful move by Allen, and Allen inside the 24. Another Raider first down. Woodcock finally collecting Allen, but he made a great move just as he broke through the line of scrimmage.
They're kind of looking for a pass, it looked like to me that time, Frank, and they just stood up. Big old Wilbur in the middle there, number 99. Couldn't make that move to the outside. Look at Marcus's move. Isn't that a nice move? Oh,
those are instincts that can't be taught.
Really is true, isn't it? That's something that's hard to... He said, well, how do you become a running back? Well, the really great ones usually are born there.
It's like you asking Willie Nelson to make me a singer.
That's right.
First and 10. Hawkins, and the little one who is ever so strong, surges for an extra couple of yards. He'll get about 6 in the arms of Woody Lowe. He is strong. They say he is not small, he's just short, and he is that. He's about 5'10", 205-pounder. Matter of fact, he's programmed at 5'9", 210. Had an incredible career at the University of Nevada at Reno. As we we'll watch this once again from the end zone, that Hawkins had over 5,000 yards rushing in his collegiate career. Considered too small to make it in the pros. He has made it. 2nd and 5. Hawkins loses his footing. Advances inside the 10-yard line.
A tough little kid, Hawkins. I wonder if he's a boxer. You know, Nevada Reno is one of the schools that for many years has had a boxing team.
I didn't know that. I know if he had kept his feet that time, he might have scored.
He would have had a pretty good hold.
Yeah.
Well, they have marked it just outside the 10-yard line, so we have a 3rd down and a long 2. And we're going to get the 2-minute warning. And the reason we tell you after you've seen that it's already taken place is we'll remind you once again our clock is not running this evening. We are getting our time information from down on the field. Both teams have their full complement of timeouts, 3 apiece. It's remaining in the first half. The Raiders trying to get respectable, down 24-0. Tough yardage situation coming up. Ball just inside the 11-yard line. 3rd down. It's a long 2.
Got the 4 big guys in there now, Frank. Defensive front 4.
The 2 tight ends for the Raiders. Ramsey is in there with Christensen. Plunkett. Jimmy is in trouble.
Well, he had King out there right quick.
King did not have the yardage for the 1st down. Plunkett looking deep for somebody else, and Leroy Jones takes Plunkett, drops him back at the 17-yard line. It'll be 4th down.
Well, you just saw a statistic. He has completed 9 passes for a total gain of 66 yards, 7 yards per completion. That is not what you call winning football.
Out comes Chris Barr. And again, we'll remind you, the holder is Mark Wilson. He's the backup quarterback. Down 24-0. Well, why not chance a little something? Of course, the Chargers would be thinking right along with them.
Hey, the Barr boys have made an impact in this league. Brother, wait a minute. Oh, no.
They do not impact on the scoreboard, however, as Chris Barr hooks it to the left, and the goose egg remains for the Raiders.
Matt kicked the winning one yesterday up in Cleveland. Chris, those things happen, kid. You know, what can I say?
I would expect the layoff has been tough on kickers, field goal kickers. They can put it on a tee in practice, but they need a center and a holder, and I'm sure they have not all had that. We'll be back. Meaning in the first half, the Raiders unsuccessful in their attempt to get on the scoreboard. Chris Barr missing a 35-yard field goal after Plunkett was sacked on a 3rd and 2. The ball is all by itself and is picked up. It'll be brought back, but Ted Hendricks, who's always around the football, has given the Raiders another opportunity.
It's amazing.
Muncie bobbled the ball even before he got to the line of scrimmage, and Ted Hendricks, who just seems to smell that ball as he has for 14 years, was there once again. I don't think he ever had control of it.
You know, there's an old cliche of how you take a handoff. It starts back in grade school. And he's raised that elbow up. He had that thing like he's going to catch it with both arms down. That's just a poor exchange.
Well, and I'll tell you, a great effort by Hendricks. He snapped that ball right out from underneath Dan Faust. Classic recovery, rolling with it. And the Raiders have a 1st and 10. Ball near the 18-yard line of the Chargers. From the end zone once again. Watch it develop. Kenny King. Marcus Allen. And Allen, I believe, has another 1st down to the 6-yard line. Bob Greger defensively there for the Chargers, and quickly the Raiders call timeout. And we'd like to tell you how much time they have remaining, but we can't.
Another shot from this side. Not that much pressure. Of course, he threw out a quick one out to the outside, too, Marcus. They're giving him too much room. They'll learn not to do that.
Yes, and look at him spin and pick up the extra 3 or 4 yards.
And that was good for the 1st down. You're exactly right. 1:10 now, we are told, remains in the first half. 2 timeouts remain for the Raiders. We're off to Tampa Bay.
Intrastate rivalry. Miami unbeaten. The Shula Magic working again. Tampa Bay, Jimmy Giles catch and fumble. cost Tampa Bay an upset victory over Dallas, a much better team than their record suggests.
Tampa did everything but win. I saw that game, and they looked awfully good.
Friday night, of course, heavyweight championship fight. Larry Holmes against Randall Tex Cobb. Larry, overwhelming favorite, should be. Solid, unbeaten champion, and really still not getting publicity he deserves.
First down, goal to go. We'll watch it again. From the end zone, Marcus Allen loses control. And he almost left it there. And the loss is back to the 11-yard line.
That's right. Timeout.
That's another timeout.
Now you put them back, Frank. They're up into that 5-yard line, and we've said many times that it gets a little difficult. You don't limit the plays you run. So trying to be optimistic now. They've dropped back another 5. They can run a little bit more effective pass routes. And let's see if we can see what caused it. Toss is a little bit high, but had both hands on it. Should have got it. What is Plunkett doing there trying to block? Jim, son, you've lost yourself.
59 seconds remain as Jim Plunkett talks it over with Tom Flores on the sidelines, and you're exactly right. They will have more room to work the pass patterns. We'll be back after this from the National Football League. By the National Football League, and of course the Raiders' Bob Chandler, who we have not seen in action tonight. He had knee problems in preseason, arthroscopic surgery, and we understand he is ready to play, but we have not seen him thus far this evening. May miss him. Second down. Goal to go. A little more than 11 yards to be covered. We'll watch it again from behind. Wide open. And Marcus Allen. And Allen held short of the goal line. Bob Greger was there defensively, along with Woody Lowe. And it will bring up third down, goal to go. And we have another timeout. And that will expire the Raiders' complement of timeouts.
Outside, that could have even been a defensive mistake out there. Good move by Allen.
All right, let's take a look at what happened in the Astrodome yesterday. Bitter, lasting rivalry, Steelers against the Oilers. We pick up with action in the second quarter. The Steelers leading 3-0. And Terry Bradshaw, there were his stats on the day. A very uneven day by his own admission. But here, he will be throwing to Greg Hawthorne out of Baylor. And Greg took it in for the score, made it 10-0. By the third quarter, and in it, it was 10-10. Houston had come back, but Bradshaw found the big tight end, Benny Cunningham, number 89, the go-ahead touchdown. Pittsburgh won it 24-10.
Back live, the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. The Raiders down 24-0, trying to get on the scoreboard. They have a third down, goal to go. The ball just inside the 2-yard line. No more timeouts, and 39 seconds remaining in the first half. Derek Jensen, number 31, the big man, is in the backfield now, along with Marcus Allen. That's Jensen, a good blocker, and Plunkett again on the rollout. And Frank Hawkins knocks it down in the end zone. His fourth down.
Such an awful empty feeling. You get out there, you got a touchdown, and it just doesn't work.
Well, it's a rare day or a rare Monday night when you see the Raiders as inept as this, but they have nobody but themselves to blame.
32 seconds remain. Of course, the clock stopped on the incompletion, and it's fourth down for the Raiders. Timeouts are not a problem. It's covering those 2 difficult yards of real estate. So get on the scoreboard, be respectable, get something going, get back in the game if you can. Plunkett on the rollout again. This time he gets it into Todd Christensen, who holds on, covers up, and the Raiders on fourth down get on the scoreboard.
You see that moment of hesitation? He was going to try to run it in, and then he saw Todd and finally got to him.
And Todd was not going to drop it either, was he? He said, let me have it. I'm not going to drop that thing. Little rollout pass, usually pretty effective down here. Gives the quarterback the option to kind of scoot in. And look at Todd. Said, I'm right here. He didn't have that ball spiraled, though. Touchdown.
It wasn't long enough to spiral.
Well, it is. Turned over a little.
Revolution and a half. But in any event, the Raiders get on the scoreboard. Chris Barr gets the conversion. 24-7 ball game with a few seconds remaining now in the first half.
All right, let's find out the Cardinals. We pick up with action in the third quarter. The Cardinals unexpectedly leading 13-10, but Joey Montana was there in the clutch, as he always has been. This, a pass to Russ Francis for his first Niner touchdown. Play good for 6 yards and the score. 17-13 Niners. Then in the fourth quarter, the score 17-13. Watch Joey Montana again. This time to Dwight Clark, and the big man goes in for the score. Final score, Niners 31, Cardinals 20.
Well, I watched that game, and Joe Montana and Dwight Clark, they are a package. Joe Montana, he just can get it done. He is a winner. And 49er record, a career record for Montana. I guess the layoff really hurt him. There's Todd Christensen.
What's your problem, Todd?
It's too long a message. We really don't have time for that, Todd. I mean, a hi, Dad, Mom would be sufficient.
Not sure we'd want to hear it. Chris Barr to kick off with 36 seconds remaining in the half. James Brooks is deep. Barr kicks it straight away, looking to the left. Brooks from the 4-yard line. Upended out of the 17-yard line. Lee Montgomery was down there quickly. Reminding you once again at halftime, Howard will be talking with Ed Garvey, Executive Director of the National Football Players Association. Paul Martha, who stepped in late as a mediator, seemed to have everything resolved. There are a few clouds hovering around that resolvement at the moment, and we'll try to put a little light on it for you at halftime. 17-yard line. Chargers first and 10. Complete. It's Wes Chandler, and Chandler is up to the 38-yard line. We'll get a timeout quickly by San Diego. They have 2 remaining. We must have, I would suspect, somewhere around 25 or 26 seconds remaining in the half.
All right, with timeout, let's take a look at what happened at Soldier Field, Chicago yesterday. The Lions against the Bears. Fourth quarter, tied 17-17, 17 seconds remain. Jim McMahon, the youngster from Brigham Young, coming through yesterday. Good stats after a shaky start. This pass to a former Giant, Emery Moorhead, all the way down to the 1-yard line. And at that point, 7 seconds remaining, clock stopped. In comes number 4, John Rivetto. He kicks the field goal, and the Bears beat the Lions 20-17. Soldier Field yesterday, and the Bears coming up with a big win for them. Look at their jubilation. 20-17.
Mike Ditka gets his first one.
Way to go, Mike.
Chargers have 22 seconds remaining. They have 2 timeouts. First and 10. The ball at their own 39-yard line. They lead 24-7. Gets it off to Muncy.
I love it.
Fouts was in the arms of the defender, and as soon as Muncy goes down, Fouts was back there with the official, quickly calling timeout. And we're just guessing with the clock. I would say about 8 seconds, so we probably should have something like 14 or 15 seconds remaining in the half.
All right, Giff, let's go to Milwaukee County Stadium, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yesterday, the Vikes against the Pack. And the Pack this year is back. 7-6 Minnesota, second quarter. Watch Lynn Dickey. Intents this pass for number 31, Gary Ellis. Deflects off of him to number 40, Eddie Lee Ivory. Touchdown, Green Bay ahead 13-7. Third quarter, 13-7 Green Bay. Opening kickoff. Fielded by Sam Harrell on the 9-yard line. Maurice Harvey strips the ball loose, takes it in for the score. Green Bay 19-7. The Pack went on to win it 26-7 using those screen passes I mentioned earlier.
Back once again in the Coliseum in Los Angeles, and Dan Fouts chewed the fat there with Don Coryell. Back in the huddle now.
235 yards the first.
And he might shatter the moon tonight.
How many teams do you think that would start throwing like this with 15 seconds? And they started their own 15-yard line.
Well, they know the Oakland's, or the Los Angeles is proclivity for the foul on the pass. This time it's picked off. Rod Martin, the former USC football player, is just about going to run the timeout. We've got a little rugby going on out there.
Joe Cap
The
must be
stunning
here.
Joe Cap, California against Stanford.
Rod Martin with the interception. They shuffled it around. Time ran out. And the halftime has expired on a peculiar play. There's the score. San Diego over the LA Raiders 24-7. Stay with us. See by those numbers. However, the Raiders did come back. They were able on the 4th down of their last possession to move it into the end zone, so they have drawn closer. Jim Plunkett, who started off with wins for the Raiders, as we mentioned earlier, against San Francisco and then Atlanta, looking to make it 3 straight tonight over the Chargers, and they're having their problems. The Chargers are 1-1 coming into tonight, and of course keep in mind as we look at Don Coryell that 8 teams will qualify from each conference to go into what basically would be a tournament play. And of course there are many factors enter into that, how you can obtain seeding, if you will, home team advantage. One of them is points scored. As we look at the first quarter statistics, we get an opportunity to compare that to the halftime statistics. As you can see in the first quarter, it was all San Diego, 158 passing yards to 11. Time of possession 9 minutes to 5 minutes, and as you can see, the Raiders at least brought it a little more respectable by the end of the halftime.
And time of possession edge with the Raiders. But it's not how long you have the football, it's what you do with it when you have it.
I'm going to use that.
Benushka to kick off. And Greg Pruitt takes it at the 2-yard line. And he is hammered out there at the 20-yard line. And the Raiders will have first possession here in the second half. I mentioned those playoffs. They will begin January the 8th and 9th. 4 AFC games, 4 NFC games. January the 15th and 16th. It will be basically what you could call quarterfinals, I guess. In the weekend of January the 22nd. The conference championships will be played with, by the way, a warm weather option left open there. Should perhaps Green Bay and Chicago should wind up in that championship on the weekend of January the 22nd. It could be a little cold.
Plunkett's going to have to move his club and in a hurry. Otherwise, they're going to make a decision as to using young Wilson.
There's Marcus Allen behind Kurt Marsh, and Allen nowhere to back go. As though he wanted to reverse his field, and there was nothing but Chargers. Down he goes with a loss of about 3 yards. Back at the 17-yard line, Rick Ackerman, the first-year man out of Memphis State, was in there defensively for the Chargers.
You're going to have to start throwing on first down. You're down 17 points. You scored only because of a Muncie fumble with just seconds left in the first half. You got to take chances. And you can't throw dunk-off passes either.
Second down, 13. Plunkett is back. Goes out to Marcus Allen, and Allen gets back to the line of scrimmage, scrambles for a couple of more. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Woody Lowe back there defensively.
Now this is a big down. The one thing the Raiders had to do was to get immediate momentum. And now they got a big 3rd down play, Dandy.
Reestablish that offensive strength that they showed in the last. That wasn't really a very strong offensive show, as a matter of fact, 24 yards or something like that. They got to move the ball a little bit.
Barnwell goes to the top of your screen on the 3rd down and 8. Cliff Branch split to the left. Marcus Allen, Kenny King, the setbacks, and Plunkett is back. Enough there goes the Todd Christensen, but he holds on to it for the first down out at the 41-yard line.
Now that may have been the most important offensive play by the Raiders this game. Just what we were talking about.
What do they say?
Again, they're bringing it back.
I think they said he dropped it. Got another injured defensive back. They're having some pretty good collisions there.
And Bob McElwee is taking an official's timeout. And the Charger is down on the turf.
Appears to be Bob Greger, I'm afraid.
That pass brought back, and it will be 4th down.
Said he dropped it?
Said he dropped it. You saw him come down the middle, and the middle is open, as we've said many times, to the tight end. If it doesn't look too good. Let's take a look at it again. But they're trying to double the 2 outside guys. He's zipping in right behind the linebacker. The ball's not really, well, that's another head-on collision, and he did drop the ball. Almost a fumble, though, instead of just an incompleted pass.
Very close. It looked as though he did control the ball.
I agree with Frank.
Let's look at it from the other side. Good catch by Christensen.
Oh, I'm sorry. He controlled that football.
You can see the hit by Bob Greger, and he was assisted off the field. In any event, they bring it back incomplete. Out comes Ray Guy. Dropping deeper is James Brooks for the Chargers. Ray Guy has led the NFL in punting 3 times over his career. One of the all-time greats of doing his thing. Brooks, fair catch called for at the 39-yard line. San Diego will have his first possession. I remind you once again, we are not remiss in giving you time of drives and how much time remains in the various quarters, but the official clock is not running here at the Coliseum tonight. Right now, we're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations all along the line tell you who's bringing you the game.
KTNV TV, Las Vegas.
Dan Fouts moves the Chargers up, as you saw. Unbelievable numbers in the first half. If he doubled them, he would be well over 400. On 1st and 10, quickly to the air, Kellen Winslow. Winslow struggling for 9, close to midfield.
It's a good way to start. That doesn't look good.
Fouts now 17 of 24, 244 yards. Bob Greger is being helped off the field. He is being taken into the locker room, and we will give you a report as soon as we get one.
Looks like the arm and the shoulder. Of course, I'm still waiting for a finalized report on Burgess Owens from his collision with Winslow, who's back in the game and effective.
Winslow got 9. It's 2nd down and 1. Oh, for Muncy, and he blows through it down to the 33-yard line, and another flag is down. The big man can accelerate. Chargers holding. They'll bring it back.
He sure did get through the line in a hurry. Maybe that
He
what
passed
helped.
through, yeah.
He did. Take a look at it from the end zone. Nothing really fancy. Double team in the left guard. What a hole, man. No wonder he got through there in a hurry.
Masick and Wilkerson did a number on Kinlaw.
And
Holding, number 67, offense, 2nd down.
So they're still X-raying Burgess Owens.
Ed White on the right side with the single block detected holding. Ed White was one of the Chargers who was a bit questionable how long he could go tonight. He had arthroscopic surgery during the 8 weeks the players were out. Dwight Scales, who caught a touchdown pass earlier, number 87, in the ball game for the Chargers.
wow.
And Fouts goes down. The ball is loose, I believe. It may be ruled dead. Hendricks got to Fouts, as he customarily does. And let's see.
I think it's ruled
They'll
dead.
bring it back.
Thinks a proper call. But I must say, all these years, going back to 1970, when Hendricks was the defensive player of the league, I'd pay money just to see that man play. He is one of the greatest players who has yet lived. It's that simple. You can't talk too much about him. His domination during the playoffs and the Super Bowl a couple of years back was just tremendous.
What do they say? He's playing in his 193rd consecutive game tonight. Durability, consistency. 3rd down, 17. Another flag is down. Winslow has the ball up at the 45-yard line, short of the 1st down, but a flag is down. Vince McElroy was there defensively.
Temper.
Billy Shields
And Lyle Alzado
talking it over with Lyle Alzado. They've been going at it all night over that left side of the offensive line for the Chargers.
Never saw a football player could fight. Examples: Too Tall Jones, Lyle Alzado.
Did he fight Muhammad Ali at one point?
Yes.
Lyle did.
Yeah. Little exhibition on Denver. As you can see, movement on the part of the Chargers. This one will be talked over. The options given to the Raiders, and they'll take the penalty, and they'll back the Chargers up further. This
Illegal
time,
motion. Right.
right tackle on the offense, they said. Illegal motion.
Let's take a look at Alzado here, number 77 from the bottom of your screen coming in. That's Billy Shields, as Frank mentioned. They're going after it, aren't they?
Third down and 23. The ball at the 27-yard line. Draw play to Brooks.
Oh!
And Brooks slips and goes down to the turf at the 31-yard line. It'll bring up fourth down. McElroy defensively on the stop.
What you call one of your shoestring tackles. He just got him by the shoestring, see, and pulled him down.
In comes Maury Buford, the rookie from Texas Tech. His second punt of the night. Greg Pruitt settles in for the Raiders at about his own 23-yard line. Buford, career average at Texas Tech of a little over 43 yards. Led the NCAA as a freshman over 44 yards. After this off the side of his foot. Short kick. And it settles at the 37-yard line. So Buford, who has shown great talent, but it has been inconsistent, gets one off the side of the foot, and the Raiders, trailing 24-7 here in the third quarter, will have good field position at their own 37. Here's looking to get something happening here in the third quarter with a little over 10 minutes remaining in the third quarter, we've been informed. Have a 1st and 10, the ball inside their own 37-yard line. Barnwell and Branch remain the receivers. Marcus Allen, 32. Kenny King, 33. The setbacks. Plunkett remains the quarterback. Henry Lawrence back in the game at right tackle. Plunkett, Christensen the tight end. And with a little help from his friends, Christensen picks up the first down. Lyndon King, Andre Young, the rookie from Louisiana Tech, defensively in there for the Chargers.
That's a kid to look at closely.
Andre Young.
Yes, originally they thought the kid, the rap on him was he ran a slow 40. They found out he ran the 40 faster than anyone else on the club.
First down, 10, 47-yard line. Plunkett has Christensen wide open again, and they're not covering Christensen.
Nope.
They're into those outside zones where they're trying to keep that outside going, and they're leaving that middle pretty well open to the linebacker.
Open for the tight end in the middle.
That's it.
Another first down.
It is an open.
Well, they take the strong safety and put him into a zone. They try to cover Christensen, who is probably a much better athlete and a little more agile than the Chargers are aware of. They tell me that he is constantly making the circus catches in training camp. He was a former running back. And they are trying to cover him with a linebacker, and he has been open twice in a row. Kenny King, right side, stays on his feet. Woody Lowe takes him after an 8-yard pickup down to the 32-yard line.
By far the best offensive series that the Raiders have had
Certainly
so far
is.
tonight. Kenny King, you see a good block coming out and by Dave Dalby, the offensive center, and the middle linebacker, Selman, and man, that opened up the hole to the outside.
Dalby's incredible all these years. And they got a good kid behind him, Jim Romano from Penn State, one of Paterno's specials.
Their top 5 picks are fairly solid.
There he goes again.
And King will get the first down. Down to the 28-yard line. Probably wearing the only pair of high-top shoes you'll find.
Got him some new scoops, didn't he?
Final point you made in the first half, Gib, about the draft choices the Chargers will have next year.
Love those high tops, man. That's good. Well, one of the things about where he wears those shoes is they're black, you see, so he can find them every time he walks. The rest of them wear white shoes.
Y.A. Tittle loved those high shoes.
So did Unitas.
Whoa! Big opening for Marcus Allen. And his head was faster than his feet. And down he goes, but he has another first down at the 15-yard line.
You got a key off a Dolphins block again, but you got Chuck Marsh and Mickey Marvin. Let's just see it. Right in the middle, coming up. They caught Big Wilbur going to the outside. And, man, look at that block by Kenny King on the middle line from the linebacker.
A quick thrift taken right out of the play by King. And Allen, seeing daylight to the outside, tried to make the quick cut. Down he went.
No, Cliff wasn't thrift enough that time. Or swift enough.
Raiders have pulled it together. They were down 24-0. At one point, they still trailed 24-7 here in the third quarter. Kenny King, another big opening inside. And this time, it's King inside the 5-yard line. It'll be first down, goal to go. Tim Fox has made 3 consecutive tackles.
Now this crowd is aroused, Frank. They're waving their pom-poms, those who have them.
Got a couple of new guys in the defensive line you might make note of. Wilbur Young has come in. He hasn't been playing all night. He's been in there in and out. Number 99. And he's the guy that's over the center and into that 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers.
Now they're in their 3-4. King barreling right up the middle and just busting his way close to the 2-yard line. It'll be second down, goal to go. Tom Flores will send in Frank Hawkins, number 27. Hawkins, low center of gravity, but a superb blocker. Second-year man. Second down, goal to go. The Raiders, with a touchdown and a conversion, could move well within striking distance.
Touchdown.
Beautiful trap block. Allen into the end zone. Touchdown.
Now,
Raiders getting back in the ball game.
this is Monday Night Football. They're awake finally in Al Davis's box, but this is Monday Night Football, the way we've grown accustomed to it. 2 arch rivals. And suddenly the Raiders come alive.
What a fine addition that young man is to any night of football. Love to see him play.
Marcus Allen gets the touchdown. He has really burst onto the pro scene. 116 yards rushing in his debut against the 49ers. Was Marcus Allen as Chris Barr gets it through the uprights. And we now have a 24-14 football game. And the Raiders have pulled it back together. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Got the touchdown on the field where he hung up 12 NCAA rushing records, collecting a Heisman Award. And he is a professional. Chris Barr to kick off. James Brooks is deep for the Chargers. Brooks from the 8-yard line. Brooks gets outside and almost gets the block that could have sprung him for big yardage. Forced out of bounds at the 28-yard line. So Dan Fouts, he knows his job. Get out on the field, put some balls in the air, make some first downs, take the steam out of the Raiders. 6:25 remaining in the third quarter.
What the Raiders have to do is what they were doing. Hendricks and the rest getting to Fouts, rushing him.
They mark it just inside the 29-yard line. Muncie and Capoletti, the setbacks. That's Joyner in motion, number 18.
He'll kill you.
There he is. The big man, Kellen Winslow, wide open, carrying Mike Davis for an extra few yards to a first down midfield.
Crossing over. Give Fouts that kind of time. Dan will just kill you. I love the way he throws.
Well, I do too, and this is an awfully good throw. Kellen has run this route, I'd say 4, 5, 6 times, but you look, he just drills that one right there. That's pretty good coverage. So the angle from where we are, it's hard to see, but that's awfully hard to stop.
First down, and they've marked it at the 49-yard line. Joyner in motion again. Muncie looks for the opening. Finds a little gap and captures a couple of yards. It'll be second down and 8. Once again, the Raiders 2-0 on the young season. But there has been played of it. Chargers 1-1. Chargers defeating Denver, then losing to Kansas City. The Raiders won their opening against the 49ers, and then they defeated Atlanta. Then we all took a break. Otis McKinney remains in the game for Burgess Owens. We're still awaiting a report on Burgess Owens. 2nd and 8. Bouts again. Joyner. And one that should have been caught.
Boy, it would have been a good catch.
Ted Watts back there defensively. Ted Watts, a first-round draft pick of a year ago. Especially a punt return man late in the year after coming off the injured reserve. He was there.
Hit it
right off his fingers.
I think it hit the face mask. I think it hit his face mask.
Could very well have hit the face mask. He had his hands in very close. 3rd down and 7.
All right, this is a big play for the Chargers, obviously.
Inside the 48-yard line of the Raiders. Chandler in motion. Roll out by Fouts. Looking back for the screen to Winslow. He bobbles the ball. And the Raiders have it.
Oh, yeah. How did you
Flag is down.
Such a big play. Flag down. I bet they're going to get Fouts for roughing. Fouts jumped on it.
Little foul, number 14.
Yeah, who got it?
San Diego.
That one really backfired. Screen following the rollout to the opposite side. We'll bring it back. There's Winslow getting untied, number 80 down.
Winslow came out. Good. That's good position. That's
Otis McKinney on the hit.
Right back in there. Otis says, I'm going to get this ball. And look at Fouts. Fouts. Son.
Terry Roughness, number 14, San Diego, first down.
That doesn't happen often when they give it unnecessary roughness to the quarterback.
Tell you this about Otis McKinney, former Giant 2nd-round draft choice out of Colorado. He's not the fastest defensive back in the world, but he is a big hitter.
He is that.
Raiders now trailing by 24-14, have a 1st and 10, 30-yard line of the Chargers. And how the complexion of this game has changed.
And they started right back where they left off, trying to go up the middle.
Marcus Allen, this time popped first by Gary Johnson. Back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and 10. The ebb and flow, as Howard likes to say it.
Shifting tide.
Yes. Wilbur Young is out
for the Raiders. We'll look at it coming right at you. 2nd down and 10. Kenny King, big old King battling down to the 10-yard line. Beautiful trap block executed by the Raiders.
Oh, is that offensive line playing football now?
Ground level, you'll see Mickey Marvin coming across.
Mickey Marvin was a trap man. He did what any good guard will do. There was no man to trap, so he turned it upfield, got a block, sprung King down to the 10-yard line. Raiders on the prowl. This time they hand it inside to Marcus Allen, and he goes down to the 6-yard line.
I think you may have been right in the first half, Giff, when you said the Raiders may have their best running back tandem ever in Kenny King and Marcus Allen.
They really do complement each other.
Well, it's a still worried Flores, but now knowing he's got a chance to get right back in there, and Coryell, who is such a nervous man, showing it.
2nd down, the ball at the 6-yard line. Allen, student body right. He knows it well. And he's done that many times.
There was nobody out there looking for it. Get into it.
What a comeback by the Raiders. They got on the scoreboard to make it 24-7 right in the final seconds of the first half.
There's that crowd I told you about. By the way, they did sell 53,000 tickets and more for this game. I don't know if they have that many people here finally, but certainly the crowd has improved materially. It turned out to be a late arriving crowd.
I was afraid they weren't going to show up till next week.
Chris Barr will attempt to bring the Raiders to within 3. And I hope you didn't go for a brew. And we're gone very long because this game has really turned around. Let's look at Kenny King, who with Marcus Allen in the backfield moves to the fullback spot. He made the big play on that drive, and the Raiders are within 3. It's moved on the ground, culminated by a 6-yard touchdown run. A classical USC sweep right, Marcus Allen into the end zone. 24-21. 2:23 remaining in the third quarter. Chris Barr bangs it for the Raiders. Flips it short. Andre Young. And Andre Young, the rookie, gets it up to the 29-yard line. And mind you, once again, not a great college football coming against Alabama. And of course, you'll see Penn State against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl right here on ABC. 29-yard line. The Chargers need to get something pulled back together. Fouts goes out to Muncie, and Rod Martin is right there with Muncie.
Well, what the Chargers have to do is keep their poise. Above all, keep their poise, not play frightened football, and accustom themselves to the change of tactics of the Raiders, because Hendricks has been all over the place, and they're hitting in crunching fashion and forcing fumbles. That's the time to keep your poise, stick to your game plan, and when you've got a quarterback like Fouts, give him enough protection, he'll still kill you.
Muncie got 3 on that little dump off. It's 2nd down and 7. The ball at the 33-yard line. Fouts looking quickly for Joyner, and it's incomplete.
See them blitz on that, Don?
And they are getting to Fouts, something they did not do throughout the first and most of the second quarter, and he was just picking them apart. But now they have hands in his face. That makes a big difference.
2 more things, Frank. The penalty started getting called against San Diego, and Oakland has been able to execute the run.
I think that may be the key. Oakland was going to have a long night sitting back there trying to throw.
How about Los Angeles?
How about Los Angeles? You said Oakland.
That's true.
You said Oakland. You're trying to trick me.
Years have happened.
3rd down, 7. Fouts again trying to get the pass off to Joyner, and he was in a crowd covered well by 3 Raiders. The Raiders are fired up. Big John Matuzak out of action with the bad back. Still got those fired up eyeballs.
He knows where Monday Night Football's on.
Over the years, the Raiders have been the winningest team that we have covered. 18-2-1. Hubert, the rookie from Texas Tech. Greg Pruitt, you saw a moment ago, at the 25-yard line of the Raiders. There he is, the former Cleveland Brown. We saw him at one point in his career run a 9.6500 in Superstars competition, and Buford slices off another one.
That's poor baby.
That's a good way to go back to Texas Tech. Short kick. The last one was 27 yards. This one goes out of bounds at the 34, and the Raiders have good field position.
That balloon is so big that you can put 1,257,747 footballs in it, or put one great big one. I just thought
I'll buy that.
That's all true.
You know you're crazy.
I know.
Hang around that Roger Miller long enough.
That's right. Roger will do it.
34-yard line for the Raiders. 1st down and 10. Kenny King. Nothing doing out there. And the Chargers string it out. King stepping out of bounds right at the line of scrimmage. It's Tim Fox. And he has been already quite an addition to these Chargers. He's been all over the field making tackles, defending, had an interception.
Score by quarters. You know, Frank, even as we constantly go back in baseball history to look for parallels and analogies, so looking back in football history, the last time the Chargers were ahead 24-0 was in that most memorable game maybe of recent times against Miami, and they kept their poise and won it 41-38.
2nd down and 11. Clock it back
in overtime.
Almost a circus catch.
That's going for the ball, isn't it, guys?
Marcus Allen out of the backfield, colliding with a pair of defenders. Mike Williams was back there, and Tim Fox.
He just didn't think he really had a shot at this. He looked really pretty well covered.
What a weapon he is, though, Diamond. Look how deep downfield he is.
Yep. And then going over for that ball. Tell you, we've seen some collisions tonight with those defensive backs running into receivers down there. That was another one. Slow getting up. Mike Williams.
The clock, if we could see it, stopped by the official. And I believe we're ready to play now. 3rd down and 11.
Big series of downs for the Chargers. If they can stop the Raiders, they can collect themselves.
33-yard line of the Raiders. Frank Hawkins has replaced Kenny King, number 27, in the backfield for the Raiders. Draw play on 3rd and 11. And smothered there, headed by Lyndon King defensively for the Chargers, and the Raiders will have to punt away.
Still not a bad call.
Not a necessarily good one, though, because they really haven't established that passing game that much. You know, they've got to really kind of hit that ball. They were throwing down the middle a while ago to the tight end. But it's not a bad one, but it's still, I would have thrown something.
Ray Guy comes in to do the punting, and James Brooks drops respectably down to the 15-yard line. They do respect Ray Guy. Every now and then he hits one that is just hard to believe. This time it's low, and Brooks should have an opportunity for the return. He bobbles it out of bounds. Flag is down in the area where you usually get an illegal defender downfield. Bob McElwee will give us the word. No. An illegal use of the hands.
Defensive holding. The ball had been kicked.
The ball had been kicked. And then they called the defensive holding.
Tell you, it looked like two different teams in the second half. San Diego was so sharp in the first half. Everything they did moved. They didn't make that many mistakes. And the Raiders did just the opposite. They went in. Maybe they changed jerseys at halftime. They could have done something like that.
I got a phone call from Al Davis.
Yeah. This is our opening.
Does not like to lose.
It's a secretive organization. I mean, it's very seldom does a home team practice 400 miles from the stadium. They'll move down here pretty soon.
Holding on the defense. Post possession.
Building a complex at El Segundo on the other side of the airport.
I understand it's quite nice, too.
Yep.
So the Chargers will have the ball, 1st down and 10, following their holding penalty. The ball will be at their 17-yard line, and we'll be back after this message. On Meredith, 14 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter. The Raiders have bounced back. They trail now by 3, 24-21. 14 seconds again remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Brooks, the single setback, he gets the draw call. And Brooks out over the 20-yard line to the 22, a gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. Rod Martin defensively there for the Raiders.
That's a tough little cookie, that Brooks, as you look at high shoes.
I love his new scoots, man. Those things, they move fast.
They look like Tittle's old boots. And there it is. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score 24-21. The Chargers over the Los Angeles Raiders. We'll be back after this message from our local stations. Quarter action coming your way here on ABC. The Raiders back in the football game. At one point, they trailed 24-0. Then it was 24-7 at halftime. Now it's 24-21. 2nd down and 5. The Chargers with the football, their own 22-yard line. Brooks dances out of trouble deep in his backfield. And Brooks, with a fine move, gets the 1st down out over the 30-yard line. And he was in trouble deep in his own backfield.
All right, the halftime statistics. We had seen Los Angeles come back even to lead in time of possession and somewhat even up the comparable yardage. But as one goes to the 3rd quarter,
they've really narrowed it, haven't they? Oh, total yards, 285, 235. Turnovers.
Up to the line of scrimmage.
Possession.
Brooks remains in that backfield. He had a big year last year as a rookie. Can do a lot of things, James Brooks. Winslow's open.
So can he.
Winslow has the 1st down. It takes a peck of Raiders to get him down. He's up close to midfield once again.
That crossing pattern again.
Well, it was a slightly different kind of a route, but he's basically working that same area. You see, it comes from the left this time, and instead of coming across, he turns back out to the outside. Basically, he got man-to-man coverage in there, and you're just not going to do it. He can look. There's a halt and a half. I'll guarantee you that.
Remember in the tease, I said, forget about a one-on-one tackle. For him, the action but begins when he gets the football.
I knew I'd heard it somewhere, and
Chargers trying to deflate the Raiders. They get another first down at their own 46. Bounce back again. Fires to Kellen Winslow.
there was not much room for that ball to get in there. I guarantee you, he put it right on the number.
Dan Faust rewriting the NFL passing book.
Kellen this time sets in a kind of a little flanker position, comes back out, not anything fancy, but he's got him 1-to-1, and that ball is right on the money.
George is doing exactly what they have to do, choking off the rush, giving Dan a little bit of time. He just tied Unitas's record.
305 yards. Brooks, big opening right side. Stays on his feet inside the 20, and he'll have another first down.
And the 3 running plays where they use Brooks have set up the passing game beautifully.
They really have, and I'm really surprised that you don't see the Chargers break more long runs, because the defense gets settled in there for that pass rush, that charge, and it's just a different kind of set when you try to defend the run. Brooks is the kind of guy that's got that great acceleration. He can sure break through in a hurry.
Faust with 15 300-yard games in his young career. Second down and 1, looks it over, gives the ball off to Brooks once again. Sprint for the outside, and he doesn't get there as Mike Davis collects him for a loss back to the 20-yard line. It'll be third down and about 2.5.
That play didn't appear to be set up very well. He didn't have any blockers out in front, ran that one right into the teeth of the heart of the defense.
They want and need touch. Field goal leaves them still within range of the Raiders. Big play here. We've had a number of them in this game.
Coryell looks like he's always got a headache. Who? Coryell. Coach.
Third down, about 2.5. Muncy, they'll try it on the ground. Muncy gets it. He gets the first down. He's inside the 15-yard line.
He's upset with himself because he did have a little bit more of room to work with out there, and he tripped over somebody, I think. Let's see if we can see it again. Little fake ball start to the left, counter move, come back, wait for those guards.
Good blocking. Excellent.
Zip right through. That was Doug Wilkerson that he was following, number 63.
Wilkerson, all-pro. So long. Great player.
14-yard line. First and 10, the Chargers. We're in the fourth quarter. Bounce. Tripped up, and down he goes. It'll be marked right there. The man who tripped him up was Reuben Vaughn. Reuben Vaughn.
Number 99, Mark Gastineau. The same moves, the same reaction.
Oh, Reuben.
And the loss is all the way back to the 24-yard line.
Yeah, put him back into passing range. They get there too close, they don't know what to do.
The Raiders, they bring those defensive linemen in on every given situation. Reuben Vaughn, the second-year man in Colorado. Now they drop into a 4-man front to pressure Fouts on the sure pass. Fouts. Chandler tries to sprint to the outside, and he is collected at the 16-yard line by James Davis.
They're getting a little more pressure back into that front 4. That time Danny got the ball off. We got an ISO on West coming across. But that front 4, a little delay route, let him clean it out. Here he comes back in on the inside. Opens up. The Raiders are playing kind of a zone type.
Look at that hitting, though.
Yeah, they're getting it together. James Davis, 45.
The Raiders, their job is to keep the Chargers from getting that first down.
Said they sold over 53,000, 12,898 no-shows. Crowd actually here, 42,162.
Third and 11. Fouts fires into the corner. Up goes Dwight Scales, incomplete, and we'll see Benershka.
And you see old Denny down there.
He's been down twice in a row now.
He's been crunched.
He's actually getting hit as he's throwing a lot of times, too. Good play by Lester Hayes over on the corner. That cornerback's getting lonely out there, and he had a good receiver that was working on him. And Lester did a good job that time. Forced him to the outside and out of bounds.
Benershka comes into the ball game for the field goal attempt. He's 4 of 6 in the previous 2 games. This will be a 38-yard attempt. Ed Luther is the holder. On its way, and he hooks it left. So the Raiders, good defensive effort. They turn back the Chargers and remain only 3 points behind. Good football game. We hope you stayed with us when it was 24-0. We're heading for a beautiful finish. Remaining in the game. And the Raiders down 24-0 at one point in the first half. Final seconds brought it to 24-7. Now it's 24-21. They have a 1st and 10. Trailing by 3. The Raiders at their own 20-yard line. Plunkett. Branch bobbles the ball. It goes out of bounds. It'll remain Raiders' possession. Willie Buchanan in there defensively now. 1st down and 10. Out of the 32-yard line.
Good 1st down play for a change from Raiders' point of view.
They've really solidified the second half, particularly that offensive unit. They made many comments in the first half. They just didn't. They looked a little shaky and tentative and playing a little bit more confidence in the second half.
Ball at the 34-yard line. Kenny King sprinting to the outside.
Good move.
Hops over one Charger. Jeff Allen came up there, grabbed for the knees. They were gone. And Kenny King gets out close to the 40-yard line. Gain of about 6 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
It's a good attempt that time, and actually with some degree of success by Marcus Allen in blocking for Kenny King out in front. That is a nice tandem because we've seen King do that for Marcus several times tonight.
Yeah, he has adjusted well. He was in that tailback spot a year ago. Marcus Allen has that role now, and this is Marcus Allen. He goes down short of the 1st down out over the 40-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
On balance, because of all of the talk as to the quality of play that we would see after the 8-week strike, on balance, this has been an unevenly played game. Witness the number of penalties, but there have been streaks of brilliance because we're dealing with some of the greatest players in the National Football League.
I'll tell you, there will be sore bodies around tomorrow and the next day, and I think the layoff will be reflected next weekend.
No question.
Now they've gone back to that double zone.
3rd and 3. Plunkett scrambles around, looks downfield. Christensen, Todd Christensen, worked himself into an open spot. Plunkett had the poise to get it there. Raiders have 1st down inside the 35-yard line of the Chargers.
They've gone back to that same defense to cover the 2 outside receivers with, you see coming back there, that's the deep man on the deep safety coming back. They're covering Christensen with linebackers. The linebackers actually released to come up to tackle, and he just flipped it over because Christensen stayed right where he was, right in the middle. Not very good
Christensen with key plays tonight.
Big difference in Mr. Plunkett from the 1st half to the 2nd half.
7 receptions for Todd Christensen on the night. 78 yards. They've been key plays. Plunkett. 8th reception for Christensen. Another 1st down.
Oh, the 1st down pass, Dandy.
Yeah, that's lovely. The Chargers are really giving them a lot of room to work back there. They've got them on the ropes there a little bit.
2nd-round draft pick of your old Cowboys back in '78 as a running back out of Brigham Young was Todd Christensen.
They actually tried Todd several different positions in Dallas, and he just didn't quite fit in. You know,
that's right. But Gil Brandt knew then he was a great athlete, and so did Tom. That's why they drafted him 2nd.
Marked inside the 23-yard line. I wish we could tell you the exact time. One would speculate 6 or 7 minutes remaining as Marcus Allen tries the left side and finds a gap. Exploits it for about 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Man who might have turned this game around right there.
He's done it before.
got the fumble. He had his hands in Fouts' face.
He was the one that said, they asked him what he thought, what kind of game they're going to have tonight. He said, I think it's going to be loud.
He'll tell it like it is.
Yeah. He says, the fans may not see it, but says, we're not going to move very well at all.
7:15 remaining in the game. Second down, long 4. Ball inside the 18-yard line of the Chargers. A reverse to the speedster, Barnwell. Barnwell inside the 5. It'll be first and goal. Willie Buchanan made the save, and it looked like Barnwell with that great speed. He runs about a 9.4, would get into the end zone.
He's a barn burner. Hurt now. No, just shaken up.
Just tangled up. Good call right here.
Beauty.
Well, you picked up a good 6 yards on that first down. Makes that defense start to think a little bit. They're going to try to pursue a little bit stronger, maybe. And, boy, he pursued a little bit too fast that time, and old Malcolm got around him.
We saw him collect his first touchdown pass, thrown to him by Mark Wilson on a Monday night.
Against Minnesota. 60-yarder it was.
It was about 8:30 at night.
First down, goal to go. Kenny King struggles to get into the end zone. He'll be short by inches. San Diego saying that they got the football.
Oh,
you see.
Call the ball dead. They call the ball dead.
Raiders are saying that it was blown dead. Chargers saying we have it. And it's the Raiders football. It'll be second down, goal to go.
Let's see if we can see it from our reverse angle look. Little pole block. There's Kenny, got it up in the middle. Can't see too much. No.
Whole lot of bodies struggling around in there. There's the ball laying there.
Hey, that ball is out. There's the
Whistle
ball.
probably had been blown. Hawkins, touchdown. Frank Hawkins, the fireplug type fullback, bangs it in. And would you believe we have a new leader?
Who would have thunk it?
Well, it's not over yet.
Of course it isn't. It's never over.
Till it's over.
For the Chargers.
Yeah.
You're now quoting Yogi Berra.
No, I just had heard that from somewhere. I didn't know it was Yogi, but.
So you've got to admire a team that collects themselves down 24-0 and pulls themselves together as the Raiders have.
They should have a slogan, something like pride and poise.
And they should dress in gray and black.
That's right.
Sober and be cool at all times. And they have been that tonight. Chris Barr puts it through the uprights. 28-24. The Raiders, for the first time tonight, with about 6 minutes remaining in the game, have taken the lead. And Lester Hayes says we're number 1. 54 seconds remaining in the game. Certainly a lot of time for the score to change several times. There's James Brooks, second-year man out of Auburn. Chris Barr kicks it off. Brooks settles in at the 5 and turns it up looking for the wedge. He doesn't find it, and down he goes out of the 20-yard line. Scramble for the ball, which was torn loose.
They're getting a little rank out there now, aren't they?
They sure are. And how big that missed field goal by Benershka looms. Now they need a touchdown, not just a field goal.
Dan Fouts, he's been there before.
You can almost sense he's saying, look, guys, let's hold this thing together, get back on the track, get some points on the board.
Pick up the dogs, give me a couple of moments, and I'll get us down there. Muncie just explodes right up the middle and gets 8 yards out to the 28-yard line.
Excellent call. No evidence of panic. Stick to your game. Reassume control. Excellent call.
I agree.
Big offensive line of the Chargers. Not the real mobile type offensive line. They're huge. Washington 295. White 280. 260 with Masick in the middle. 260. Wilkerson 285. Shields. Second down, 2. Fouts is back. Fires is a strike to Chandler. Chandler was really well covered and put it on a string.
He really was, brother. That's Lester. Was in Lester Hayes out there?
Okay, this ball had some smoke on it.
See, Lester, number 37. That's a nice move by Chandler to the outside. He got him a step, but that ball had to be there, and it was thrown a long way.
And it was made possible as you look again at West, great all-purpose athlete, made possible by the way they blocked out Alzado. Didn't get in there, no rush on Fouts.
5:03 remaining in the game now. First down and 10, 45-yard line. Fouts back again, going for Chandler.
Oh, my
He had the ball for a moment, and he was hammered. Hit hard by Dan McElroy after he was in the arms of James Davis.
Young McElroy has the look of a player off his performance tonight.
Oh, my. Don't have anything to say except let's just watch.
McElroy, a rookie from Baylor.
Tell you,
We've had some collisions, I'm telling you tonight.
you got a yard of gut to do that. Concentrate on the football, even though he didn't hold on to it. Come across that middle, it gets exciting. Second down and 10. On the draw play, and Muncie collected right at the 40-yard line. He'll lose about 5. Howie Long was in there first.
Hey, I said I never knew a football player could fight. Howie Long, the last man from Villanova, second-round draft choice a year ago, had 16 fights, won them all. Huge guy, and might be a fighter.
Well, tough call now coming up for the Chargers. Third down and 15. They'll get some pressure. Archie Reese comes in as the Raiders will drop into their 4-man front, trying to get hands and bodies in front of Dan Fouts. Fouts has the time. He has Chandler first down.
What a big play. Whoa!
And I'll tell you, Chandler, running the same pattern in which he really got hammered a while ago, came right back across that middle, gets the first down.
It was basically the same pattern. They caught him in a slightly different defense. This time, McElroy was up, kind of keying off the tight end. You see Chandler come back down, give that little fake burst of speed, cut back into the inside. Wide open.
Now, we've given a lot of credit to the comeback of the Raiders, but now the Chargers, their offensive line, staving off that 4-man front of the Raiders when the Chargers knew that the Raiders knew they had to put the ball in the air. First down and 10. This is Brooks. Rod Martin misses, and Brooks gets inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
Beautifully engineered drive. Absolute poise. Mixture of the run and the pass.
A little under 4 minutes. Clock moving. Gain of 6. It'll be second down and 4. The field goal will not do it. Now we are down to 3 minutes. Brooks, big opening, and Brooks to the 18-yard line.
Ah, that's what I mean by a beautifully engineered drive. What have they used Brooks on the run for? 6 times in this drive?
Something like that. It's just your basic power off outside. Got a good lead block.
Capoletti.
Yeah, no, John hadn't played that much tonight. He made a good lead block. Came through. Nice hole.
First down, 18-yard line.
Now they have the Raiders defense bewildered. Giff, they don't know whether to look for the run or the pass.
Winslow now split top of your screen. You can do that with the big man. Fouts, lots of time. Man open. And they move back and covered Eric Sievers. Otis McKinney. And Mike Davis.
The ball was almost picked off on a deflection. Danny's
Look at this. It almost has the look of face guarding.
Just trying
but it's not.
Trying to drop it over the linebacker's head.
Don't know whether he saw it or not, but McKinney knocked that ball away.
Second big play by McKinney.
Second down and 10. 2:04. Clock stops on the incompletion. Look out. Fouts has to hurry blitz. This one was picked off in the end zone. Van McElroy, who's made big plays, and Fouts, under great pressure, hung it up, and Fouts stays on the turf. Slow getting up. Dan Fouts shaken up.
Oh, was he under pressure?
That defensive line, I don't know whether that was a linebacker or just a defensive lineman that came in and hit him.
Appears to be all right. He was hit just as he released the ball. A very vulnerable position. We'll look at it once again from the end zone. Raiders on their dealing up the middle what it was, and it was Von Rubin, the second-year man out of Colorado, dealing.
Oh, Rubin,
well, tackle.
He was the guy that got back in there. We get to take another look, and he does take a nice, he takes a big hit.
Second big play by Rubin.
Oh, wow.
That does smart. Fouts appears to be all right. 2-minute warning, 2 minutes remain. Los Angeles has a 1st and 10, their own 20. Proven very durable. He is indeed that, because he took a tremendous shot from Reuben Vaughn. Up on his feet, looking out on the field where 1:56 remains to be played in the game. Chargers have 3 timeouts. Their job to get the football back. Fouts on the night, 25 of 40, 356 yards. His 26th 300-yard game. He also went over 25,000 career yards tonight. And right now, his team trails by 4 points. Marcus Allen with a 1st and 10. Covering up that football. There's the first of the timeouts called by the Chargers. There's a little information for you. Only one team that's come from behind to win a game. San Francisco versus New Orleans. I guess so, if you say so. We'll be back. Jim Plunkett trying to maintain the football for the Raiders. For the Chargers, 28-24. What we were saying a moment ago is that in the entire history of the league, only one team has ever come back to win a game after they were down by 24 points. That was accomplished by San Francisco. 2nd down and 9. 1:52 remaining in the game. Chargers with 2 timeouts. Marcus Allen. He'll stay inbounds. Oh, gets the first down, keeps the clock moving.
And what a piece of blocking there to open that hole for Allen.
That's the way you draw him up. He knows that, too. He had some blocking, and he was on the outside just in that right timing to make that cut.
Chargers stop the clock. They have 1 timeout remaining. Reminding you, Nightline will be coming your way immediately following your local news and, of course, later here on the West Coast.
At this point in time, Frank, I think there's a point should be made. Again, looking at the shortened season and the 8 weeks long strike in perspective, think about the schedules and who's prospered from the games lost. For example, the toughest portion of the 1982 schedule of the Dallas Cowboys has been wiped out. Their 7 canceled opponents had a combined 607 percentage last year. Look at the juice. How do you like that? Among the games that the Cowboys missed were 5 against teams that made the playoffs last year. And Dallas was scheduled to play 4 of those games on the road. The team most hurt, and that relates to tonight. The Los Angeles Raiders. The 7 Raiders games that were canceled were against teams which in 1981 had a collective won and loss percentage of only .424. Back to the action.
First down and 10. 1:40 remaining in the game. Kenny King, right side, and Kenny King sprawls for a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Bruce Laird upending Kenny King, and that's the final timeout for the Chargers. They cannot stop the clock anymore. And the Raiders are on their way to their first victory ever here. Howard Cosell, Don Meredith will be moving on to Tampa Bay for next Monday night. State rivalry there, the Miami Dolphins against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dolphins 3-0 on this season. Right now we have a 2nd down and 8. The Chargers, no more timeouts. 1:33 remaining in the game. Really an incredible comeback on the part of the Raiders, playing their first regular season game ever here in the Los Angeles Coliseum. Marcus Allen on the night, 89 yards for a 3-game, 261-yard mark. Kenny King rolling forward, covering up the ball. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
Well, you know, the strikes come and the strikes go. Certain things never do change. For example, this telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. Now, it's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. Where are you going to be on Friday, Howard?
Friday, I'll be in Houston. I won't even be with my family for Thanksgiving Day because I have to work that fight with my good friend, Chester Forty.
Yeah.
They'll send you a turkey sandwich.
Yeah.
Forty will eat that, too.
A couple of turkeys if I ever heard of them.
3rd down and 2. Clock running as Kenny King bangs the middle. It'll be 4th down. I would like to tell you how many seconds remain. Well, but I cannot do that.
I know your intentions are good.
Again, the game clock has not been running throughout the night. There's Benershko. We mentioned that at the beginning of the 4th period, he missed a 38-yard field goal, I believe it was.
So it would appear that the Raiders will have a Monday night record of 19-2-1. Remarkable.
Bad.
And delay of game will be called against the Raiders. Dan Fouts, as I mentioned a moment ago, he had himself quite a night.
10 seconds.
10 seconds remain.
Well, dreams of a block kick.
Or no kick. A field goal would not do it. 28-24. Why even kick?
Got a point.
That's what they're talking over the sidelines. Now they want to take a timeout, think it over.
He's
the clock would stop at change of possession. That would be the only problem with staying on the field and running. There's the rest of our schedule.
That's the rest of it, Frank. Miami, Tampa Bay, we've told you about. Niners against the Rams, Jets against Detroit. By the way, talking about great all-purpose backs and giving full credit to Marcus Allen. Don't forget Freeman McNeil. Also, from this down in the collegiate ranks. Dallas against Houston, Atlanta against San Francisco. Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, San Francisco. Sunday night, Cincinnati at San Diego, a repeat of last year's Frozen playoff game. That's a Monday night. Buffalo against Miami, and then Dallas against the Vikes.
Raiders will be 3-0. The Chargers will drop to 1-2. They could be in a little bit of trouble.
We did
in this abbreviated season.
We've all had a little trouble with the Oakland Raiders and the LA Raiders. The announcer, the field announcer, just said Oakland timeout. The crowd reminded him that they weren't in Oakland anymore.
Talk about Pavlov's dog.
That's
you got
right.
3 of them up here tonight.
Oh, man, that's hard. They've been the Oakland Raiders for a long time.
Ray Guy stays in. On a 4th down, the clock is stopped on change of possession. Yeah, he's going to fool around a little bit. I'll tell you.
Well, they've got no timeouts, is right. And nobody knows.
Chargers can't stop it.
4 seconds
Unbelievable,
left.
isn't it? I'll tell you one thing. I'm not so sure that I wouldn't have punted that thing away.
I would have punted it. I certainly would have. 4 seconds left.
Dan Fouts. Clock stops on change of possession.
I'll never
Fouts will have a chance to put that ball in the air.
Will you ever forget Staubach against the Vikes?
Well, and a game or a half can't end on a defensive foul. Several things could happen. Throw it up there.
Hail Mary.
Mess around with it. This one's history. The Raiders with an absolutely almost unprecedented NFL comeback from 24 points down, win their first home game in their very first appearance in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. They did it in a dramatic fashion. For the Chargers, it had to be a tremendously tough loss because they were in total control throughout the first half. At halftime, leading 24-7. Tom Flores, who once quarterbacked these Oakland Raiders right on this very same field some 22 years ago against the LA Chargers, gets the victory tonight. And John Matuszak, bad back and all.
This was not that far. I mean, it could have happened, as a matter of fact. They're all going down after I play a little volleyball. And Kellen's going to be the #1 tip guy. Tip it up, and look right here.
He was trying to tip it right back to join it. They practiced that.
He almost did it.
He almost did.
Almost won't quite get it, however. And the Raiders defeat the San Diego Chargers 28-24, who will be right